Habari ya jioni kakangu, habari ya jioni kwa wale ambao watakuja kututazama baadaye. Natumai, natarajia, naamini kwamba mko vizuri. Miguda habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu, niko
Mm.
vyema.
Ehe.
Ni hali ya kutulia na pia naweza sema tu baridi, but
Baridi.
hatujasahau Mola, tunazidi kuomba Mola
Eh,
atuwezeshe tuvuke vyema katika msimu huu.
eh. Okay, asante sana. Unajua kuna vitu vitatu huwa zinakuwaga ni muhimu katika maisha ya binadamu. Kuna siku ya kuzaliwa, kuna siku ya kuoa na vile vile kuna siku ambayo unapatiwa heshima zako za mwisho. Ni muhimu sana katika binadamu. Unapata katika hizi siku zote, unapata kwamba siku ukizaliwa, kuna wale watakuletea zawadi, kuna wale pia watanena maneno mazuri wasema huyu kafanana na babake, huyu naona kwamba ataiga babake ama atakuwa ni kama babu. Siku ile pia unapata uchumba ama unafanya harusi, pia kuna zawadi ambao unaletewa. Na wengi ambao wako karibu na wewe, kuna wale ambao watasema kwamba sisi tunakutakia kila la heri, baraka, tunakuombea baraka vile vile. Lakini pia siku ile umekufa, kutakuwa na ile hali ya kuomba Mwenyezi Mungu akulaze roho yako pahali pema peponi. Lakini siku yako ya kukufa, hapo ndo unapata kwamba maneno mazuri ama sifa utanyiminiwa ama tunasema kwamba utapatiwa sifa nzuri hata kama ulikuwa ni kijana ama mtu ambaye hakukuwa anaishi na watu vizuri katika jamii. Siku hiyo, kila mtu mpaka adui wako watakusema vizuri. Sijui ni kwa nini. Unadhani kwa nini siku ile ambapo unazikwa ama siku ile unapatiwa heshima za mwisho huwa hata maadui zako wanasema maneno mazuri, hata maadui zako wamepata nafasi kubeba lile jeneza lako, kila kitu yani. Unadhani kwa nini?
Kakangu, ningependa kuzungumzia hiyo jambo jana, lakini sasa itabidi nikuambie leo. Unajua,
Mm,
unapata wakati unapoaga duniani,
mm,
unapata kuna wale marafiki, wale
mm,
maadui,
mm,
watakuja kuomboleza familia.
mm,
Lakini kila mmoja anapopatiwa nafasi ya kuzungumza katika matanga yako,
mm,
huwa wanasema tu sifa zako. Hakuna yule anayezungumzia mabaya yako uliyofanya kama uko hai.
mm,
Sasa hiyo imekuwa ni mila ya Kiafrika na vile vile imekuwa desturi katika matanga zetu ya kwamba haufai kuzungumzia yule mwenda
mm,
zake maneno
mm,
aliyofanya mabaya kama ako hai. Unafaa
mm,
tu kuzungumzia maneno mazuri. Lakini pia mi sioni haja ya kusema maneno mabaya kama mtu amekufa juu. Sasa huyu mtu hana maana. Unajua, uko tu na maana wakati wewe ni mzima.
mm,
Ndiposa ningependa kukuambia kwamba unapata watu wanasema ya kwamba yule ambaye amekufa yeye sasa anaenda kwa Mungu. Na mimi hapo napinga. Sasa mimi
mhm,
napinga tu, pia tuko na dini tofauti. Na
aha,
kulingana na masomo zangu,
mm,
Mungu anahitaji sisi kama sisi ni wazima tumfanyie kazi.
eh,
Inakuwaje sasa wakati tumekufa ako na haja na sisi sana? Sasa
mm,
unapata tu sisi tu wakati tumekufa ndio Mungu anataka tufanyie kazi, lakini wakati ulikuwa wazima hatuko watu wake. Mimi niko na imani ya kwamba kila mtu wakati ako mzima ni wa Mungu, hata kwa kifo ni wa Mungu, lakini cha muhimu
mm,
ni tu ile desturi zetu kimila na ni niseme tu ni mambo ya culture ambayo sisi tumezoea kama Waafrika ya kwamba uzungumze mambo sifa za yule mwenda zake, lakini haswa cha muhimu ya kwamba wakati ninapokuwa duniani
mm,
hakuna mtu yote ako na haki ama ako na ile anaweza kukuhukumu, labda ni Mungu tu peke yake. Sasa mimi napenda kusema tu swali kama hiyo ningejibu ya kusema hakuna vile unaweza badilisha hiyo katika jamii juu watu wamezoea. Kwa mfano mambo na ufisadi,
mm,
unaweza kuwa tu mtu mmoja ambaye unapinga ufisadi, unakemea ufisadi, lakini wengi, idadi ya watu wengi wanafanya ufisadi. Sasa ni kama huwezi kuwa mtu mmoja ujaribu kubadilisha
mm,
kile watu wanachukua kama desturi ama mila yao. Hiyo ndio maoni yangu.
Mi labda naweza kuwa na maoni tofauti kulingana na labda kulingana tu na mimi, labda mimi pia naweza kuwa siko sahihi, lakini maoni yangu ni kwamba jambo la kwanza ambalo ningeweza sema kwamba unapata kwamba mtu anapatiwa sifa wakati ameaga ama wakati ambao anapatiwa heshima zake za mwisho. Naamini ni kwamba huyo mtu hana nafasi ya kujitetea ama hana nafasi ya kuongelea mengi, kwa sababu ni mara mingi unapata katika hii mazingira ambayo sisi tunaishi, unapata kama bado uko na afya yako we mzuri, unatembea, unafanya kazi zako, unapata kwamba ni nadra unapata kwamba saa zingine kuna mtu ambaye hataki kuongea na wewe, mtu ambaye kuna tu ile kutotaka kushirikiana na wewe, lakini tupate kwamba umepata nafasi ya kuaga, ndio atasema kwamba labda unaweza sema kwamba mimi wakati alikuwa naaga, mimi ndo nilizungumza naye ya mwisho. Mimi nadhani hilo ni kwa sababu marehemu hawezi jitetea. Sasa kwa sababu unajua hawezi jitetea, lazima sasa utasema hivyo. Pili pia ni ile kudanganya ama kuishi maisha ya uongo, sio maisha ya halisia. Labda kuonesha wale ambao wamekuja kwamba wewe na mwenda zake ama marehemu mlikuwa na mahusiano mazuri. Mimi nadhani hivyo, lakini sidhani kwamba ati kwa sababu imekuwa ni mila na desturi. Yenyewe ni mila na desturi, lakini nadhani ni ile kwamba mwenda zake hawezi jitetea, kwa sababu unajua kwa nini nimekuuliza hivyo? Leo niliona mwanasiasa fulani alikuwa anasema kwamba amemiss sana Raila, lakini huyo mwanasiasa bado ukienda wakati Raila alikuwa hai, maneno ambayo alikuwa anasema juu ya mwenda zake zilikuwa maneno zenye hazina heshima, yaani maneno mabaya, hata kama ni siasa. Lakini kwa sababu leo huyu Raila yuko sasa, hawezi jitetea, unapata kwamba unampatia sifa ambapo ukakataa kumpatia wakati ambapo alikuwa katika uhai wake. Ndio maana unapata Waswahili wanasema mpatie maua yake kama bado yuko, usimpatie maua yake akiwa katika kaburini, kwa sababu haitakuwa na thamani ya maana. Wewe kwako vipi?
Hapo uko na jambo nzuri sana hapo. Pia ni Kenya nimesoma kutoka kwako ni ya kwamba yule mwenda zake hana nafasi ya kujitetea. Hiyo ni ukweli. Hapo ndio kweli, nakubaliana na wewe 100%. Alafu pia nakubaliana ya kwamba wakati mtu ako hai anafaa patwe maua yake kama kwa juu. Siwezi ona hiyo maua kama nimekufa. So mimi ningependa tu kuambia rafiki zangu na nitawapatia maua yao kama wako hai, na cha muhimu ya kwamba mimi huwa nasherehekea marafiki zangu kama bado tuko hai saa hizi, juu hakuna wakati ukienda hakuna nafasi ya kusherehekea marafiki zako. Sasa kama tuko hai tufanye vitu zetu kama tuko hai.
Miguda, hebu angalia mic yako.
Unanipata vizuri?
Hebu toka alafu urudi kwa sababu
sawa.
Okay, asante sana. Okay, kinakaa teknolojia inatupatia shida kidogo, kwa sababu ukimute hivyo sisikii sauti yangu, lakini usipomute unapata kwamba nikiongea okay, asante sana Miguda. Nadhani kuna shida na mic yake, kwa sababu najisikia nikirudia nikiongea. Na kwa kweli tukiongea kwamba patiana mtu maua yake, unajua kuna aina mbili, ama mimi naweza itafsiri kwa njia mbili, like tuseme kwamba patiana mtu maua yake. Kuna maua na kuna maua ya sifa. kuna ile wakati tunaenda kwa mwenda zake, ama wakati tunaenda labda hata wakati ambapo watu walikuwa na Valentine Day, kuna zile maua ambao ulikuwa unapatiwa. Hiyo ni maua, lakini sana sana tukisema patia na mtu maua yake, ina kwamba patia heshima zake, patia sifa zake na mpongeze pahali ambapo unaona kwamba amefanya vizuri. Hapo ndio nasema kwamba patiana mtu maua yake. Hapo ndio maoni yangu. Labda kama uko mahali na unatofautiana na mimi kusema kupatiana mtu maua. Hebu Miguda, kabla tujaenda kwa mada, labda tuseme kwamba mtu akikwambia umpatie maua yake inamaanisha nini?
Kupatiana maua kwa maoni yangu ni ya kwamba mtu
Mm.
anakuambia kwamba unafaa ku recognize kwa lugha ya
Mm.
kimombo. Kwa
Mm.
mfano mimi na wewe ni
Mm.
marafiki.
Mm.
Sasa nisingoje tu, sasa saa zingine ukinifanyia mema na
Mm.
kupatia shukrani, na saa
Mm.
zingine juu huwezi patia kila mtu maua, hauwezi kuwa rafiki na kila mtu. Kuna wale wenye si marafiki zako, hamtakutana mpaka mtoke duniani. Sasa wale
Mm.
ambao mko na uhusiano karibu nao, kwa
Mm.
mfano kama sisi,
Mm.
kama kuna jambo nzuri ambayo unaweza nifanyia, nifanyie sasa hivi kama mimi niko hai, ni
Mm.
jambo nzuri. Na
Mm.
kama kuna usingoje mpaka wakati nimeaga dunia ndio
Mm.
nifanyie jambo nzuri ya kwamba unaninunulia jeneza,
Mm.
unaleta chakula kwa matanga yangu,
Mm.
unatoa milioni moja.
Mm.
Nichape hiyo mita moja sasa hivi. Ama kama hiyo ni jeneza, nipatie pesa ya jeneza sasa hivi. Ama chakula unibaie saa hizi nikule. Si usingoje kwamba unajifanya unakuja na magari zako na sifa, eh? Sasa mimi
Mm.
nipenda kusema tu kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, kama nyinyi mko na uhusiano wa karibu na kuna
Eh.
jambo ambayo imenifinya kabisa, unafaa
Mm.
kuingilia na mikono miwili. Hiyo ndio
Mm.
kunipatia maua yangu kama bado niko hai.
Lakini unajua mara mingi labda sisi sana sana sisi tunaelewa kwamba ukiambia kwamba mimi nipatie maua yangu ni kwamba unaenda kile unaichuna, ama unaenda kwa kizungu tunaita the bouquet of flowers, unampelekea. Wacha nipatie maua yake. Ama wakati ule umeaga unajua unajua kwa
Unajua, wacha nikwambie kitu moja.
eh,
Ukitafsiri hivyo itakuwa
eh,
direct translation, na
mm,
kwamba ni kitu tafsiri directly. Alafu
mm,
pia unapata wakati mtu ameaga, tunapoweka maua
mm,
katika kaburi lake,
mm,
hiyo ni tu symbolism ya
mm,
kwamba tulikuwa
mm,
tunampenda,
mm,
lakini hiyo si ati the actual love. The actual love should be demonstrated when the person is still alive, but the fact that we are celebrating the demise by placing flowers at the graveside, it's
mm.
clear that we are celebrating him at his death. So it was close to us.
Okay, asante sana. Sasa ndio maana nilikuwa nakwambia, katika lugha ama katika usemi za Swahili ama katika wakati ambapo tunaongea kwamba tukisema kwamba mimi Miguda nitampatia maua yake, kuna aina mbili za maua ambayo labda unaweza patiana. Kuna ile maua asili ambapo labda unaenda pale unainunua, unamletea kwa kumpongeza. Unajua, unapata Miguda, ndio hii nimekupatia bouquet of flowers, nitakupatia hii ni yako. Na vile vile kuna ile maua ambayo mimi na wewe tumekuwa karibu, na mimi natambua uwezo wako na vitu ambazo umenifanyia, nasema kwamba Miguda, mimi nakutambua. Leo hii chukua heshima zako. Inamaanisha kwamba unamheshimisha katika maongezi yako, na vile vile pia unamheshimisha katika jamii, kuelezea kwa nini unampatia heshima zake. Bado naweza sema kwamba umepatia na mtu maua yake wakati ambao unafaa. Ndio maana nilikuwa nasema kwamba kama mimi ni mbaya, niambie ubaya wangu. Hata katika kifo changu usikose kusema ubaya wangu wakati ambapo labda mimi naenda. Kuna Mswahili fulani alisema, kama mimi nanuka mkwapa, niambie kuna lugha nzuri ya kunitongoza kuniambia kwamba mimi nanuka mkwapa. Na kuna vitu ambazo unaweza fanya ili mimi nisikoseshe watu amani wakati ambapo watu wako katika kongamano ama watu wako katika mahali ambapo wako na mazungumzo, alafu harufu ambao unatoa inaweza fanya hata mtu asipumue ama mtu apoteze uhai wake. Sasa jambo unafanya, unaenda pale dukani, unasema bwana, we rafiki yangu, mimi leo nataka kukutongoza kwa njia mzuri, kwa sababu mkopo wako atupatie sisi amani. Leo nimekununua deodorant, nimekununia sabuni, kaoge. Unaona, hiyo ni ile ya heshima. Nyama, unasemaje?
Hiyo ni kweli, ni kama unaheshimu mtu kama ako
Mm.
hai, lakini pia ni kama unamrekebisha vile vile.
Ehe.
Ni juu
Yeah.
rafiki yako huwezi mwona akianguka na unanyamaza. Saa hiyo ni maana gani mwe marafiki na huwezi msaidia?
Mm. Okay, thank you so much, Miguda. Let me just share with you some of the things that are taking place on the nation, and those have been given the news headline. Let me also take this opportunity to thank Judith for joining us, and also Brenda for also joining us. Thank you so much, and everyone who is joining us on the YouTube page. Today we are not in the TikTok. I'm trying to set up the TikTok. I did it once, but it was still giving me some complications. But soon we will make sure that we go on the 3 platforms at the same time. Miguda, there's so much that is going on, especially right now. Let me just start with what is trending today, especially, or those that are making the headlines on the news. And this is something that is Orengo has always been talking about it. This is Governor James Orengo questions Raila Odinga's India trip and death. During a Spice FM interview, Siaya Governor James Orengo said former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was almost forced to travel to India in October 2025, accompanied by questionable individuals, and died of cardiac arrest of age of 80 while receiving treatment there. Orengo, who has led past death inquiries in Kenya, called for a deeper probe, noting no public postmortem report, despite one being done, and a questionable if Odinga's non-health issues match the official cause. While the family and government accepted natural cause at the time, Orengo remarks drew criticism and fueled online speculation through no evidence of foul play as resurfaced. You know, this is coming at a time when there's so many people who have questioned about the death of Right Honorable Prime Minister, and um, and everything that surrounded his burial and the funeral arrangement. And Orengo has always maintained on the Raila's death and say that okay, something needs to be done, and he tended to allude that the death of Raila Odinga was not a natural death. There must be a foul play in his death. So that's from what I also had an opportunity to watch that interview. Maybe Miguda, what can you say about this?
Yeah, what I can say about that is because you understand Orengo being a senior counsel and a lawyer by profession, there are some questions that you need to ask the circumstances that led to the death of Raila Odinga.
Mm.
When you delve deeper, you find out that even the president himself said that before Raila traveled to India, they had to persuade him to board airplane to India. So it means they went there against his will. So it's like he was forced to go and seek medication abroad. When you are forcing a patient to go and seek medication abroad, it's like you are infringing his medical right or his right to privacy, because there's no need you can allow somebody to go outside to seek treatment. What I
Mm.
want to say is that Orengo want to get into full details of the circumstances that surround Raila's death, and there have been speculation that he could be given a better treatment, and also by the fact that the people who surrounds him by the time he was dying were not close allies. The
Mm.
people who jet him out of the country are not part and parcel of his team. So I think that I concur with Orengo
Mm.
that we should do due diligence, find out the reason why Raila had to pass away. Raila is
Mm.
not a public figure that can just die under that mysterious circumstance, unclear. And even to that extent, that postmortem was not done. How do one persuade his followers? He has that magnitude followers. So I think that's where the problem is.
So, and you know, Orengo cited several cases that actually he participated or he handled, especially of very senior people or people that matters in society, including Ouko's death. He mentioned quite a number of them. And he said that the one for Raila maybe has no options. Is this something that also should be questioned? How? Because like he tend to conclude that if you look at what Raila was uh, at the illness of Raila vis-a-vis what caused his death, like this seems not to be this seems not to be correlations. They are not relating, you know. So that's why he insists that okay, something has to be done, and that is one. Also, he's saying that the stature of Raila, so many hats that Raila weared, and being that he was a senior politician in the country or in our country that has like a lot of history, it cannot be just like that. Something has to be done. And remember, yesterday we talked about this Miguda, especially when it comes to reports, especially for public consumption. It is something that um, the relevant authority should improve on, you know, because like I tend to believe that when such reports are brought out or when that investigation is done and the report, it's also strengthening our institution and it builds that public trust. Because the questions that Orengo is asking, you know, there's so many people who also have asked about it then, and you're creating, there's now that doubt that is coming, you know. So, and you will find that at the end of the day, because it's politics, it will be laid or somebody will be given that tag that you are responsible for the death of Raila Odinga. We know how our politics sometimes work. So what do you think?
It can be politics, I agree with you, but remember, he's
Mm,
ready to testify, and he said that he's ready to move to court, testify, and also he's citing some evidences. It's very
mm,
back out. So even if it is politics, I think the people who are responsible should come out and also try to
mm,
defend their stand. So sometimes it
mm,
can be politics, and that's how politics has been played before. So I cannot deny or agree that it's not politics, but there are some circumstances. What I want to concentrate on the circumstances that surrounds Raila's death could be triggering something.
mm. Okay, asante sana. Some things sometimes also we can agree before I invite in my brother. You know, the when you see the organizational process, matayarishi ya mwenda zake Raila Amolo Odinga wakati ambapo yalikuwa nafanyika, ni kama kuna vitu ambazo zinafanya watu wanauliza swali mengi. The organizational process followed Raila Odinga death is what was abused and therefore caused all these doubts Orengo is raising. The big question, what patterns shaped such arrangements? You know, standard diplomat. And even remember on how what Edwin Sifuna said, especially when they went to repatriate the body, that he just saw from a distance. And he said that this is not the man that he used to know. So when such like issues are being brought into the public, especially to people who, you know, brings more doubts, you know, raises more questions than answers. And this is what brings those doubts. And that's why like people are asking. So we will see on how things are going to unfold. Yes, msimama barigani.
Nzuri ndugu yangu, hali yako vipi?
Kwema.
Wema kabisa jamaangu.
We vipi?
Huku tunagangamaa hivyo hivyo kishingo pande, lakini tupo tutabambanya bambanya hapa pate, tukitemwa kama jana, tukitupwa basi siku ishatoka hiyo, limdari tumetia siku.
Inafaa uulize, wanasema kwamba inafaa uulize walimwengu kwa nini mimi nikitaka kuchangia kwa mada ambayo inahusu nchi yangu natemwa? Maswali
Bwana we. Maswali nyeti jamaangu, waswa nashangaa watu wakisema uchumi umeimarika, Wacha tusiseme mengi bwana.
Uchumi unajua, kwa mfano tu unajua, mimi nataka kupatiana mfano. Wewe na Mbadi mnazungumzia uchumi tofauti, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Mbadi ukimuuliza mambo ya uchumi atakwambia kwamba uchumi umeimarika zaidi na zaidi. Kwa sababu unaweza kuona kwa ako na nyepesi live unasema kwa maisha yake, kwa sababu kulingana na mpunga la pesa ambao anapata katika kutoka katika serikali, kwa sababu ameajiriwa na serikali. Lakini wewe ni kuna utofauti kidogo.
Jamaa wangu, kwa kweli hela sasa hivi ni kufukuzana nayo. Na kilo kipiga hivi kiitia mkononi ndio hiyo ishatema tayari. Kwa maana hiyo ni kwamba tutakuwa tofauti na Mbali, maana mwenzangu yuko hapo hapo nyunguni, kwenye nyungu haswa. Kwa hivyo kila kipiga jicho anakuta kwamba uchumi umeimarika, lakini si ambao tuko kando haswa na hiyo nyungu na pia kuifikia haswa inakuwa ni balaa. Basi hatuna budi ili tupambane na hali yetu, wana kila ilivyo. Mtaji wa maskini siku zote huwa ni nguvu zake mwenyewe. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Hatujaenda sana kwa mada, bado tulikuwa tunazungumzia mambo haya ambayo Orengo anasema kwamba anauliza maswali mengi kuhusu kifo cha mwenda zake Raila Amolo Odinga. Anatoa kauli kwamba hata kuenda kwake kutafuta matibabu kule nchini India ni kama ni mtu ambaye alitolewa ama alipelekwa bila idhini yake, ni kama ni mtu ambaye alikuwa anasukumwa kuenda. Na anasema kwa anatoa sababu hizo kwa sababu hata wale ambao waliandamana na yeye ni watu ambao labda kuna maswali mengi ambao tunaweza uliza juu yao. Sasa anasema ni vyema kifo cha Raila Odinga ifanyiwe uchunguzi zaidi, ndio ili watu wajue, kwa sababu kulingana na hata kofia ambayo Raila alikuwa anavaa ama ile cheo ambapo Raila alikuwa nayo katika nchi, ni cheo kikubwa ambapo hautuwezi ama nchi haiwezi enda tu hivyo kubali kwamba alikufa tu. Na nasema hata kwamba ile ripoti ambao huwa inatokana postmortem hata wenyewe hawajapata na hata mafamilia, kulingana na James Orengo. We hapa unaweza kuwa na makubaliano na yeye ama tu ni zile siasa tu za kawaida kupata hisia za watu?
Unajua kaka, mlala na mgonjwa ndiye anamjua jinsi anavyopumua. Mimi na Orengo ni vitu viwili ambavyo kwa kweli haswa katika ukaribu wa kile ukaribu tulivyokuwa karibu na mzee. Lakini ukaribu wa shabiki mwenzangu ni ukaribu kwamba yuko naye on daily basis. Kwa hivyo katika umri wake ule sidhani kwamba anaweza akasema akapiga pang'anga ama siasa kwa kifo cha mtu ambaye alikuwa na hadhi kubwa katika hili taifa. Kama kweli hiyo nyumba ambayo inazungumziwa hainuki nyama. Nafungamana naye kwa dalili zangu binafsi nilizoziangalia. Jinsi mambo alivyokwenda, wale waliokwenda kupata mwili, mambo ya picha tulizoziona, machafuko tuliyoshuhudia, na pia haraka ya mipangilio ya mazishi, alafu pia hii state funeral, yote kana nipa maswali kabisa, kwa sababu mimi kauli yangu libaki pale pale kwamba msiwe na wasiwasi, huyu mzee tutampeleka Bondo bila kujua tu, msiwe na wasiwasi. So hilo likali limenijia haswa katika nafsi, yes, kwamba kwa kila jambo ambalo lilikuwa linatengenezwa, kwa kila zuri la muda ule ilikaa halinipi ukweli, kwa sababu ya jinsi ambavyo mambo ambayo yalikuwa yanapelekwa. Kwa hiyo mimi naweza nikasema nakubaliana na Orengo, bado tunahitaji masuala mengi kuhusiana na kifo cha mzee, na kama yapo yalojificha wacha amwagike, kwa sababu ndio wakati wa kila mtu azungumze vile mambo yalivyo bila kupepesa jicho wala huku na kule. Kwa hivyo nafungamana na mzee Orengo. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Miguda, asante sana. Bado tu niko hapa kwa Orengo. Orengo alizungumzia vitu vingi akiwa katika kipindi pale. Mojawapo ya vitu ambazo alizungumzia ni kwamba ODM has been reduced to be a tiny political party that are discussing about positions, but not discussing about issues that relates to the people of Kenya, including the agreement that they signed between the UDA and the UDA and the ODM, the 10-point agenda. Do you agree with that? Miguda. Okay, bado tunasubiri Miguda, ni kama hatupatani. But when you go back to, especially if you had an opportunity to watch that interview between Orengo and one of the radio stations, there are quite a lot that came out of that interview, including Orengo stated that the ODM right now is being operated from State House. That is also something that Orengo also talked about. Orengo also touched on the question, especially touched on the leadership of Oburu, and he said that, and this is the second time I watched him saying that Oburu is a good man, and this is somebody who has been in the political family. You know, he saw his father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, then his brother Raila Amolo Odinga, but what Orengo says that Oburu is being pushed by cabal of politicians. You know, the people who are pushing Oburu to make those decisions, and these people who are surrounding him. So that is also something that Orengo talked about. Miguda, are you back? Okay, Miguda is not back. Mzalendo, labda tu nikimnukuu Orengo, nimesema hapo awali, akasema kwamba chama cha ODM ni kama uamuzi ambazo chama cha ODM wanafanya kwa saizi, ile pande ya Oburu Odinga, uamuzi ambapo wanafanya sana sana, uamuzi unatoka katika ikulu ya Nairobi, na jambo hili wengi wanaisema na watu wengi pia wanafikiri hivyo, na leo Orengo amesema hicho. Kwako wewe vipi?
Kaka, hapa kuna la kuficha ugonjwa alafu mwisho usimu na kilio. ODM ni kweli inapangwa kutoka mahali, kwa sababu dalili zinajionyesha, ari inajionyesha, shabaha na lengo linajionyesha. Kwa maana hakuna mkataba ambao ulitiwa sahihi wa makubaliano baina ya kuungana kwa UDA na ODM, but hili limeanza kuzungumzwa muda mrefu kwamba we are going to discuss with like-minded parties starting from UDA. So meaning kwamba hii kauli hii ni mambo yashapangwa tayari, ni kuwa tu yawe implemented na watu wasonge mbele. Ukiangalia those frontliners ambao wako mbele tunawajua, the likes akina Junet na kina Wanga na kina Mbadi na wengine. So it's like mzee sasa pale anapelekeshwa Mzoburu, hana jinsi, kwa sababu wengi ndio wenye nguvu. Alafu kitazama kwamba pia ni kama pia wanakuwa sponsored in terms of finance from mahali ingine, kwa sababu nakuta umati unaweza ukapigwa makofia ya yellow, karibu unashindwa hii pesa yote imetokea wapi. Lakini pia na mikutano ambayo inapangwa mwisho wa siku, lazima pia kuna kauli ambayo itafungamana na the word two term, kumaanisha kwamba watu already tayari washa sign kwamba wako kule, na ni kinyume, maana hakuna mkataba kama huu. Makubaliano yaliyokuwepo ni haya ambayo Mheshimiwa Orengo ameweza kuyazungumza, kwamba mkataba ulikuwa na mwisho, na hawa viongozi wengine ambao ni kama wamepanga kutoka wale wanakinai hilo, wanakana hilo, wanasema kwamba hapana, mazungumzo lazima yaendelee kwa sababu ni ya benefit ya nchi. So unakuta kwa hiyo mvutano ambayo iko hapo, na ndio maana kumechupuka ama kundi mawili, linda nchi, linda mwananchi na linda ground. Utagundua kwamba the linda ground yao yote iko kwa power, na kama iko kwa power wanalia wako kwa serikali, na ukiangalia expertise wenye ambao wako kule ambao wanapiga kelele kwenye ni unagundua ufika hawa watu wanapangiwa kutoka Marekani. Kwa hiyo unafungana maana na mzee kutokana na mifano ambayo iko hai na ambayo tunaiona on daily basis. Asante.
Asante sana. Unajua, nataka kabla tujaendelea, nataka tuzungumzie jambo ambalo linaitwa uoga, ama tunaweza sema kwamba uoga, mtu nimeingizwa uoga, na labda unaweza ingizwa uoga mtu akikutishia wewe maisha, hiyo pia uoga. Alafu unakuwa ni kama sasa hutaki kuongea, hata kama uko na jambo ambalo unaweza tamka, ama kama uko na siri, ama uwezi ongea kwa sababu ile uoga imekuingilia. Wakasema kwamba ukijaribu kusema ngwe, labda tutakutoa uhai, ama hautapata nafasi ya kuishi na sisi, ama ile mfereji wako ambao unachotea maji itakuwa imekatwa. Sasa hautakuwa unapata maji ya kutumia. Na jambo ambalo linafanya mimi naongelea juu ya uoga ni jambo ambalo tukikuja hapa kwa sheria, kwa sababu unapata kwamba sheria za nchi ama sheria zimewekwa ili watu wafuate ama watu wasivunje sheria. Na ukipata kwamba nchi watu wanavunja sheria kwa sababu ya siasa, na bado tunaona kwamba hiyo ni sahihi, inamaanisha kama nchi labda hatuendelee. Kwa mfano, wakati ambapo Mheshimiwa Mbadi na wengine waliingia katika serikali, walienda wakakula kiapo, wakasema kwamba watatumia Wakenya, na kwa sababu sheria zetu haziruhusu mtu ambaye amepatiwa kazi kufanya kama katika serikali, akubaliwi kuingia katika mambo ya siasa. Lakini hiyo ni utofauti. Tunaona wakina Mbadi wanakuja wanapiga siasa na vitu kama hizo, mpaka wanaenda pahali rally ama tuseme mkutano zipo. Na mimi naona sababu ni kwamba wako na uoga kwamba serikali ambapo ipo isipochaguliwa basi kazi yao itaisha. So eri walinde kazi yao, lakini wavunje sheria kwa sababu ya uoga. Wewe hapo unasema nini?
Kaka, turudi kwa Orengo aliyozungumza kwamba tunaishi katika taifa sasa hivi la vitimbi. Kuna ametukumbusha ile sijui ni imperial president, kitu kama hivyo, kwamba yeye ndio kusema yeye ndio kila kitu. Ukienda kinyume na yeye you are in a bottom top of trouble. Sasa tuko hapo na ni kinyume na katiba yetu kabisa. Kwa maana hiyo ambaye ameweza kushindwa kuitii katiba ni kiongozi ambaye yuko pale juu. Ndio maana tunawaona kina Mbadi na wengine na kina Joe wakiingia live kwa siasa, licha ya makataa kutoka kwa katiba ambayo haswa ndio mwongozo. Kwa maana hiyo viapo hivi wanaapa tu kutia mkate, lakini mwisho wa siku ni kulinda kazi. Kwa hivyo utafanya yasiyotija kwa sababu unalinda mkate kama anavyofanya Mbadi. Kwa hiyo ni kukusanya wengi, lakini mwisho wa siku anayelinda mkate wake si wale wengi, ni yeye mwenyewe binafsi. Kwa maana tunaishi taifa ambalo kiongozi yeye ndiye kusema ndio kila kitu. Parliament yeye ndio sauti. Kila mahali ndio sauti. Hata barabara ukitaka ujengewe sile budget unapangiwa, ni yeye aseme tunakujengea hii barabara. So tunajiuliza tuko katika karne gani? And then ndugu zetu hawa wengine wanasema wao wako kwa power na broad based. Je, tuendeleze na hili? Sasa hayo ndio maswali ambayo tunafaa kujiuliza sisi wenyewe, haswa wengine kama wa Kenya, kwamba tunaishi taifa lingine la ajabu ambao katiba sasa hivi imetoa kisogo, na huo ndio kweli.
Hebu tuzungumzie mambo ya upambe. Kama tuseme kwamba wapambe ni watu ambao wanatoa sifa, hata kama jamaa tuseme kwamba jamaa ni mtu ambaye anakeuka sheria za nchi, ama ni mtu ambaye labda anatishia watu, lakini wapambe wake watakuwa ni watu ambao wanamnyinyilia sifa zaidi, na unapata kwamba hao ambao ni wapambe ni watu ambao wanafanya katika wanafanya katika chini ya sheria, tuseme hivyo, na ndio bado unapata kwamba wanakeuka sheria kufanya jambo ambalo alifai. Unadhani kama hii nchi kulingana na historia ya nchi pale ambao tumetoka na pale tumefika, unadhani kwamba kutakuwa na siku tutakuwa tumebadilika ama kutakuwa na mabadiliko katika uongozi wetu, vile vile kwa wale ambao wanapiga kura wajue kwamba ni mtu mgani ambaye ndamchagua na ni serikali gani ambayo mimi nataka na nchi gani ambayo mimi nataka? Unadhani kutakuwepo na mabadiliko kweli jinsi unaona vitu zinaendelea?
Mabadiliko kaka, ni matumaini yapo, kwa sababu viongozi wa kuweza kubadilisha mabadiliko ama kuleta mabadiliko wapo. Lakini sisi wenyewe wananchi tuamue ama tusiamue, kwa sababu hakuna kitu kitafanyika hapa watu wasijue. Lakini ile kwamba unajua, lakini kwa sababu umeahidiwa, umeamua, umepewa chochote kitu, sasa unaangalia tu ile njaa leo, unasahau njaa ile nyingi ambayo ni ya kesho. So unakuta sasa ni sisi wenyewe leo tu matumaini yapo. Wananchi tukifungamana kama ambavyo tumefungamana, tukisema enough is enough, haifika 2027 uchaguzi utakuwa umeshajionyesha mapema kwamba tunahitaji mabadiliko ili hii katiba na sheria ipate kuwa nguzo ya msingi katika hili taifa letu. Kwa hiyo kaka, matumaini yapo, ni kubadilisha uongozi na kuchagua, ni kuleta viongozi ambao watakuwa na tija, na hao viongozi hawatakuja tu, ni sisi tu wakague na tuamini kwamba tuamue hasa kwa kauli moja kwamba tunasimama na huyu. Mfano kama ni Sifuna, wacha tumpe mbavu. Kama ni mwingine ambaye anasimama na sisi, wacha tumpe mbavu. Nadhani nitakomea hapo kwa sababu hali ya weather naona ni mbaya. Tushaanza kidogo tu kwa kuchoka, alafu nitarudi kakangu Benson nijipange kidogo.
Usikae sana. Okay, asante sana kakangu kwa kujiunga na sisi. Naona mandugu zangu wote ni kama wametoka kidogo, and thank you so much for everyone who has joined us. And this is Brother Benson. If you're here for the very first time, you can join us and subscribe to the channel so that when we are having conversation like this, the YouTube will notify you and you be part of the conversation. The conversation we are having actually is about the registration of Linda Mwanachi. There's a storm that is brewing, especially somebody has gone to court. Means somebody has registered the political parties to attempt to register the Linda Mwanachi, and so many people are asking why is that one. So hey Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro. Hey, this thing is not easy. Technology has to technologize me.
Na sasa kama nyinyi ndio kizazi kipya ambapo mko na sifa kwamba mnajua mambo ya teknolojia na teknolojia inawakosesha usingizi. Sasa sisi je, tutakuwepo wapi ama tutakuwa wapi?
Ati nyinyi mtakuwepo wapi? Sasa nyinyi sijui, I don't know. Anyway.
Miguda, there are so many things that we were talking about before. The technology had issues on your side. We were talking about the multipartism, and this is being connected to what Orengo was speaking about today, especially when it comes to the independency of political parties, and him concluding that the ODM, especially the Oburu factions, are getting directives, especially from State House. And remember, and that one means when you talk about State House, the name of the President William Ruto, is being mentioned as somebody who is making those decisions. And President William Ruto has his own party. If indeed that is making this decision on behalf of ODM, what is so much difficult, especially for those who feel like the President William Ruto, they share the same ideology, can just jump the ship from ODM and join UDA so that President can give them direction rather than interfering with this party the way Orengo says? Hello Miguda. Eh, Leo mtandao imeleta shida kwa hao mandugu zangu. Okay, we are still going to wait for Miguda to come and assist us to have a conversation. If you're new in Brother Benson Media, you can subscribe so that when we are having conversation like this, the YouTube will notify you. Okay, we were just looking at the recap or some of the points we picked from Orengo conversation. I see Miguda here again. Hey, Miguda.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's happening. But let me answer your question before it kicks me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Or that's why I told you what Orengo. Orengo has been talking from the point of information. Someone understands what he says from the history and from what is written, at the same time looking at the future of the country. Because when talking about multiple democracy, you know why we fought for multiple democracy. We had a single party state, and we had crisis in this country that later on we had to fight. Remember, people fought for multiple democracy. People were killed, and it was envisaged in the constitution because people had to fight for it. Then, also seeing a situation whereby the people who have been championing for multiple democracy and independent of political parties,
Yes.
that has been ODM. But right now, ODM has made a decision so that they can be swallowed or they can be controlled by a different political party. So it means it's never independent. So the independence of the political party is not being realized with these current people, leadership in the ODM. At the same time, there's no issue of, because when you swallow political parties, and like I've told, 2017 they swallowed many and made Jubilee. So it means that from history, Orang is trying to argue that where did we went wrong as a people? Or the people have been champions for democracy. They will tell you that they don't want to go to the street, blah 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 blah. But the issue is there are things that are there and envisages the constitution, which are not supposed to be interfered with this current president. So I think that's what Orang is trying to advocate and also trying to open up the eyes of people. You know, the last rally which I attended, somebody asked Korengo to abandon his cause and join Oburu so that he can provide legal advice to Oburu, or rather political advice. But you find out that after I said so, Junet Mohammed, my friend, my good friend, said that there is no need for Orengo to be in their camp because Orengo will always advise them to go for the Mandamano. So you get the point. So people know very well that Oburu is not competent. People know very well that Oburu is not genius politically. Oburu is not genius with legal issues. And he needs someone who can sit beside him to give him directions, also to make him understand how he can scheme politically, and also he can make. So they knew, those people knows Orengo very well. Orengo is not a joke when it comes to politics. Orengo understand. Orengo and politics is like fish and water. And that there are some people who are there are many people who are in politics who are not gifted politically. Orengo is gifted politically because as early as 28 he was in parliament and he has been there. And as early as around those 18s, he was playing campus politics. So to me, he went to exile detention. He met the Tanzanian president, Ugandan president as early as 24. So this is someone who has the system and understand it very well. So if you can bring it closer to you, it can aid you to it can aid you to actually maneuver political schemes from the opponent. And that's why they were requesting him to come and join the team.
All right, thank you so much. And maybe also you can weigh your thoughts, because there's also these issues that have always emerged, or some of the things that we've been seeing, especially with the president inviting people or inviting delegates or particular professional to State House to outline what the president would want to do for them, or there are those road sign declaration that the president usually make, that kwa hii barabara tumeweka hichi na hichi na hichi na hichi. But when you look at the process of budget making, especially, and allocation of money, there's a way in which it happens, and we are seeing that is not the tradition of how it has always been done, especially with the new constitution and what the president is doing. And to add into that, there's something also that Onyonka and Methu said about the consolidated fund, because when you look at the history of Kenya, the consolidated fund was that fund that could not be accessible for the executive, because like for you to access that consolidated fund, it has to pass through the parliament. But they were allegedly saying that president has accessibility to that consolidated fund. So when you look at all this that are happening with what they are raising, do you think maybe their politics is overriding that, or they are raising genuine questions? But if these questions are genuine, what should the voters themselves, or the people in the country, take the emotional politics out of it and analyze it? What do you think about that?
Bro Benson, politics to me is a bit broad because you find out that there's different groups in politics. There are elites who at even any political point can't fight. You know, when it sits together, like we can hear, we can disagree like you. We can disagree with you. You can say, I have a different view with what you are saying, or I have a point of departure, or I'm disagreeing with you here, but I'll take it lightly. I'll not take it. I just take it just it's normal disagreement, normal opinion. But there are people, disagreement means violence. Once you disagree with me, I fight you. And also, you can be neutral right now, but I can belong to a political party. But you have no issue with me. But there are people whereby if you belong to UDA and I belong to whatever, we have issues. So you must understand which audience are you addressing and which audience are you trying to say that we understand whether the politics override the other people or whatever. To me, I can just say the big people do take advantage of the situation or of the thinking of the electorate, the masses. So they will always champion their interest for the first time. Same time, they will always try to be superior in their own. So, and like that, just like I've told you, there's no way you can convince everybody that to follow you. Each and every person must have his views and his people to follow. You know, there are people who believe in Orengo. Like we have said, somebody has not taken time to listen to Orengo's interview today, what you have brought here today. And he will tell you that Orengo is opposing Oburu. For that reason, I don't support Orengo. But can you take time and listen to Orengo? Can you give him an audience? Can you listen to what he's saying and try to analyze and try to think out? Are you going to reason that way? So people will just take what has been published by magazines, whatever, that, okay, Orengo is not with Oburu, now I don't want Orengo. No, take your time, listen to Oburu, then analyze these two people, then you compare, contrast, then you come to conclusion, okay, as for, like I've told you, as for me today, when I listen to Orengo, it's full of facts, it's full of reasons and rationale in his thinking. So I believe that people also should take time to listen to their leaders. Not that you are just following somebody because somebody is having a different opinion with William Ruto. No. Can you listen to that Ruto? Can you listen to that Orengo? Can you listen to that Gachagua? Can you give Sifuna an audience so that you can come to conclusion? So I think that is how. But there's a problem because you cannot control people on what to say, what to do, what to think, what not to think. So I think that's where the problem is as an observer.
Okay, from judicial background that you have, or from the law, what you have talking about the constitution and the constitutionalism of this country, and the oath that we usually take in these offices. If you look at what is happening, and I ask Msimama about it, especially when you see the and Orengo also spoke about it, when you see the member of executive, like people like John Mbadi, after taking the oath of office not to participate in politics, but they still come and participate in politics. And they reduce the laws, or they reduce the constitution like a paper that has no meaning, provided that they are working under the sphere or under the umbrella of the president. It is okay for you to violate those constitution, and it should not be questioned. do you think that one is building us, or this is just like making us to go back to where we've come from?
Bro Benson, let me tell you one thing. Constitution and constitutionalism are two different things.
Yes.
Constitution is what is written, and constitutionalism is the value. And that's why there was somebody by the name Professor Kotogendo who had a book by the name Constitution Without Constitutionalism. That we people of Kenya, we have the constitution, but there's no constitutionalism. And I like the example you have given out, the issue of experts. They were the people advocating, but when given opportunity to address issues, they know very well they should not override other people's duties. But they are doing so, that is, there is no constitutionalism in them. So the Kenyan people or Kenyan politicians have the constitution understanding background, but they never have the constitutionalism. And if you look someone like Orengo, maybe I might misquote him, but he tended to advocate for what we call constitutionalism. That there can be a constitution in the country, but do you portray that constitutionalism? I think, and that's why I told you, Orengo is one of the, if you listen to him, take your time. Orengo is very much intelligent. I'm able to understand what he's saying, and I'm able to know what he's trying to drive at home, and the stand he's taking is way up compared to these people.
You think is taking a stand based on the reference of information, right? Or why do you think it's not a political decision that maybe there's something that I'm getting out of it, but is taking those stands based on the point of information?
Based on the point of information, I agree. But you know what? Also, you have to understand. Even during history of Orengo has differed with Raila before, and Orengo has been differing point of information, references, and also the value. You heard what he said that he was born that way. So to me, that's something that it shows constitutionalism that I believe in this, not of a point of being handout or maybe money, whatever. But I believe that on that point of constitutionalism.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to thank Goodyear for joining us, and I believe you are doing fine. Makobura will be joining us very soon, and we will continue with conversation. Miguda, let's put the Orengo interview aside, but if you did not find time to listen to that interview or to watch that interview, go there, listen to what Orengo is saying. To me, I would say that was the best, especially interview, especially for when you're looking for information and when you want to listen to that kind of interview. Detach yourself from political parties and emotions. Try to get information. Then it will give you another perspective of Orengo. Miguna, this issue of Linda Wananchi party that has been registered, and this is bringing some infights within Linda Wananchi. Somebody by the name Wanyonji went to the register. We have a long way to go. Yes, bado tuko na safari ndefu. Wanasema safari ni ndefu kabisa kabisa. Kwa sababu kama kuna vitu vingi ambazo utauliza kama nchi, utauliza kama mwananchi, kama kuna siku ambapo utapata kwamba ukienda hospitali unaona vitu zitafanyika, ukienda katika vitu vingi. Anyway, asante sana. Now, this is what is happening about the Linda Wananchi movement. There's somebody who has gone to the political party of Register and tried to register this political party. And this is something big, especially when you're looking at the politics. Inakwambia, in country, people are usually, despite all the political parties we have, when the Linda Mwananchi came, especially the slogan of Edwin Sifuna and those who are deemed to be ODM rebels came, somebody went to try to register it. And this was from the political, let me get something here. This was something that was done on the Daily Nation this was done yesterday. We are just reading. Just as the Linda Mwanachi waves spreaded by ODM, spearheaded by the perceived ODM rebels, is steering the country political scene, a fresh twist has emerged, an application to register the movement as a political party. So there's somebody who has decided to register, or an attempt to register this movement as a political party. The surprise filing at the office of the Register of Political Parties has sparked suspicion across camps, which even the owners of the movement expressing surprise. And they say that they are not associated with that, especially like the faction of Sifuna. So this is what the Daily Nation says. Three theories have so far emerged. This could be a fallback plan by the perceived ODM rebels. I don't know. So it seems that people are saying, or the people who have this view, that the registration or the attempt to register this political party might be because the Sifuna wing, the Sifuna wing are having a fallback. So just in case if they don't manage it, or if they do not get an audience, or they do not get time in ODM, this will be like their fallback plan. So that is also a theory, according to the Daily Nation. So also other people are having an opinion that this is a hostile takeover of the popular name, or a calculated business gamble by political merchants. You know how it works. So they're giving those three theories. That is them. Then the application lodged last week appears to have jolted the youthful movement associated with the embattled Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, Secretary General Edwin Sifuna. So this is what it takes. And why would somebody go and register this political party, or have an agenda to register this political party as this movement start? Okay, let me take this opportunity to welcome Kevin Makobura and Simba. Simba, habari gani?
Salama sana brother Ben.
Siku mingi?
Ndio, siku ni nyingi.
Kwa nini hivyo? Ama mlikuwa mwenda kufanya kampeni, hamkupata nafasi kuja kutujulisha, utupatie habari, mmefikisha wapi?
Siku hizi unajua, wakati unaona hakuna sababu, wakati mwingine unatulia, kwa sababu wakati tunataka kutoka ni wakati tunaona mambo ni mbaya. Kwa saizi kila kitu kimetulia, na kwanza kabisa nataka kuungana na nchi ya Israel na Marekani dhidi ya Iran, na pia kutuma rambirambi kwa familia na jamii ya Wakalenjin kwa kifo cha Johana Ngeno.
Umepotea? Okay, Makobura. Umepotea tena kaka?
Brother Ben, unanipata?
Nakupata.
Yes. Sasa kwa upande wa tutam hatuna lingine, ni siku tu tunangojea kuactivate kadi zetu. Tungojea siku yenyewe, kipenga ikipigwa ni one time tutam. Na hiyo game tutaifunga tu hivyo dakika za mwanzo.
Okay, asante sana. We tulia, wacha nipatie Makobura pia aseme jambo moja, ndio sasa tuingie tusikie maoni yako kuhusu maswali ambayo tulikuwa tunauliza hapa, sana sana kulingana na yale ambayo yanatokea katika ulingo wa siasa. Makobura, tuambie habari gani, umepotea wapi, hali vipi?
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me first to just acknowledge your presence as the host, and our good friend Simba Netaya, thank you for finding time. I saw me good, and not forgetting the support base team at the comment section, led by Goodyear, our good friend Gen Z Judith Karuitha, Brenda, and everyone who is watching. Not forgetting Mike Wanyango. I want to take this opportunity to just say a big thank you to them, and of course to thank them for their consistency in supporting us. I think I'll leave it at that point. Maybe as you come or you ask the question, I would then give more insights.
Okay, thank you so much. And I would like to start with Simba Nataya because he's a member of ODM. And I just want him to explain to us about this from the look of things. When you listen to Gladys Wanga yesterday, she said that the partnership that Baba Raila Amolo Odinga forged between UDA and ODM remains ongoing and continues to address the core agenda this partnership is committed to resolving. COIN 10-point agenda will soon release a report and status of the 10-point agenda, and even we prepare for the NDC at 2027. So from the look of things, Governor Wanga stated that that the MOU between ODM and UDA has no end date. But if you remember very well, there was this 1 year period that this agenda, there are things that it was supposed to actualize. So failure to do or failure to which, there were some suggestions that were supposed to come if Raila was there. Simba, what do you say about that? Unasema nini kuhusu haya?
Unajua, mimi nimesema mara kwa mara kuhusu matamshi ambayo na vituko ambazo huwa tunaona ni sarakasi tu, kwa sababu nafikiria wale watu ambao walikuwa wafuasi na wakereketwa wa chama cha chungwa wako mahali baba alituacha, na hatuwezi ongea mambo ya watu ambao wametobokwa na maadili ya kifyama alafu tuanze kufuata barabara yenye hatukuonyeshwa. Unajua, ni kawaida, lakini wale watu ambao moyo wetu sio dini, sio kabila, sio ama sio kufuata anything. Sisi mahali baba alituelekeza tuko hapo na hatuja. So haya mengine yote utayasikia. Mimi siwezi ongelea na siwezi toa maoni yangu sana kuhusu mambo ya vitimbi. Mimi najua baba wakati aliweka mkataba na William Ruto, tuko hapo. So mimi hii mambo ingine mimi hata sitaki kuharibu wakati wangu kuongelea. Watu ambao wanataka kutengeneza jina kwa sababu ya kifo ya baba Raila Amolo Odinga, waendelee. Kama walikuwa wanangojea, na hata wengine tunangojea, tunaona wakiwa wanangoja kifo ya mwingine. Wakati unajua brother Ben, sisi ni wa Afrika. Ndugu yako akiwa mgonjwa hawezi kuwa vile tu amekufa hivi wewe unataka kurithi bibi yake. Hiyo ni tabia mbaya ya kisiasa ambayo tunaona inaendelea, na tunafikiria yani mambo ambayo yatafuata ni wakati ambao unaenda vile unaenda hivi, kwa sababu ile choto ilikuwa imepanda imeshuka. Na sisi tunakaa kwa mesa na UDA tuunde serikali ya mwaka ujao na nchi songe mbele. Haja yetu ni kufanyia Wakenya kazi na wapate huduma bora, hivyo tu. Mambo mengine sisi hatuko hapo.
Okay, asante sana. Umesema jambo ambalo kabla sijaalika ndugu yangu Marco Bura, labda pia umezungumzia mambo ya ndugu yako na wewe kama Mwafrika, na vile vile bado hao tu wa Afrika ambao umewazungumzia wanasema kulingana na wakati ambapo labda mtu ameaga, kuna zile masiku ambayo labda mnaweza patiwa ama mnajipatia ili kuomboleza. Lakini unapata kwamba hiyo ndio swali ambalo limekuja kuulizwa sana. Mbona haraka ilikuwa wapi ambapo mpaka inafika chama inachagua ndugu yake kukua? Kama kweli sisi ni Afrika, ama kuna venye mila za Afrika zinatofautiana tu, labda tukiwa na mawazo sawa na wewe, basi hapo mila ya Afrika ipo, lakini kama tuambatani kifikra, hapo sasa mila na desturi za Afrika zipo.
Brother Ben, swali lenye umeuliza ni nzuri, na ndio sababu nikatumia hiyo. Sikuwa nimeongea hayo mambo bila kutarajia ni nini ninaongelea, kwa sababu wakati walikutana Mombasa, ile ilikuwa ni kama wazee wamekaa na wameona hali ya boma vile iko, na wakawa wamedesignate Oburu ku take over immediately ili kustabilize boma, ili isije ikawa wakati huo wa maombolezo mambo ambayo yanaweza fanyika vile yanaenda. Kwa hivyo mimi sioni kama kuna mahali ambapo, kama ingekuwa ni Oburu alijitangaza mwenyewe, hayo ndio yangekuwa ni makosa. Lakini vita yenye tunaona dhidi ya Oburu ni ya tamaa, na tamaa ya tumbo. Watu ambao hawataki kujali yali tuliyoyapata na mahali tulikuwa tunaenda. Unajua, hii inatukumbusha safari ya wana wa Israeli wakitoka Misri kwenda Canaan. Wakati walifika njiani, wakaambiwa Mungu amesema tuende tuchukue amri ambazo tutakuwa tunafuata na kusifuatilia kila wakati tukiendelea na safari. Wakati amri imekuja na Musa ameleta hizo amri, alipata nini? Watu wamechonga sanamu hii yenye tunaona saizi inaitwa Linda Wananchi. Hiyo ni sanamu, hiyo haikuwa nia yetu. So haya yote ni mambo ambayo yanafanyika kimakosa.
Okay, asante sana Simba. Bado ndakuwa na swali chungu nzima kukuuliza kakangu, lakini wacha nipunge nifikie hapa kwa Makobura. Makobura, kuna swali tata ambapo inaibuka sasa. Ukiangalia katika nakala ya Daily Nation ilikuwa inasema kwamba, nasema kwa lugha ya Kimombo, fresh storm in ODM as Oburu comes to South election at the delegate convention. Ni kwamba wakati ambapo watakuwa na kikao kikuu ya chama ambapo itakuwepo pale Kasarani tarehe 27, ile mrengo inaongozwa na Oburu Odinga, wanasema kwamba hakutakuwepo na uchaguzi kulingana na nakala ya leo nilisoma. Kama kutakuwepo na uchaguzi sasa, kwa nini wanaenda?
Okay, thank you. That's my question or to Simba?
That is your question, then Simba atajibu. Siende Simba, unajua ni wa broad based.
Mi broad based hata nifungwe na nyororo sitaenda.
Masimba atakupatia pesa bana. Unajua pesa iko
hata nikuwe bilionea sitafuata yeye. Hii broad based, this is an organization of the greedy people. It is an organization that has been made to extort the people of Kenya. It is an organization that has been made to siphon the resources of the people of Kenya, and actually to ensure that the youths of the Republic of Kenya suffer milele na milele. It's so unfortunate. How I wish the people of Kenya, and most of the people who are concerned about this country and the future of this country, would come up and specifically fight and ensure that the country is safe. It is so I've been traveling for this last 2 days, and I can tell you the situation is not good. I've had the opportunity of going to other counties that are around within Nairobi. The kind of suffering, the kind of economy, the economy is really pressing on the people. The economy is, the people of Kenya are finding it too tough. People are struggling to raise or to even manage their basic daily needs. Any point you know, anywhere you go, it's a cry. Anywhere you go, it's a cry. And again, this same government, and Simba here is here. They tell us, oh, there's free education. Oh, and it is so tough. People are going back to school. There is no money. This public institution, like the KMTC, for example, look at the KMTC, which we are told it is a government institution. The kind of suffering and policies which are in that school, you will wonder. You know, I'm being made to understand that when students are going back, they're supposed to pay the whole semester fee. And the question that then comes is, you are starting a semester and you're paying it in the first week. That if you don't pay it in the first week, then you are not allowed to be in school. And then you ask yourself, and that is a government institution, that's a public government institution. You ask yourself, then which kind of people are then going to afford the education? Which kind of generation or which kind of youths are we then raising who are going to guard the future if you don't give them an easy access of the basic requirements, things to do with education? Why do you make it tough for people to just get the basic needs which are very fundamental in their daily lives? And those are part of the things that when I interact with and then I look at what is really happening on the ground, and then I hear some of our good friends, brothers and sisters, like Simba here, whom I know very well, that he is a parent. I wonder how he even manages to feed his families. And if he does so, then I wonder what kind of jobs he does, because the truth of the matter is the economy is not easy for people to maneuver. The kind of suffering I'm seeing each and every day, the kind of depression I'm seeing amongst the youths of the Republic of Kenya. I am a youth, I'm one of them. So I am trying to imagine those parents who already have children either in high school or primary or college. How are they surviving? Me here, maybe it might not be having quite a lot in terms of the responsibility, but then I try to imagine those parents with kids. How do they survive? You know, and when I see our good friends like Simba coming here to praise a government that is siphoning money from the people, a government that is changing parastatals, they are buying the shares and controlling the shares and everything that is happening in the country. They are siphoning money, they're becoming billionaires and trillionaires in the republic. Then I ask myself, Kwani, are we really, what is the problem? You know, let me give my views first on the issue of ODM, and specifically, as per the topic states, the Linda Mwanachi political party. You know and you understand the kind of environment where we are currently. It is so unfair. We've seen the government is trying to use all means possible to ensure that they frustrate or they blind the people of Kenya by ensuring that their views or their commands are headed too. And to me, it's so unfortunate. They're the ones who are sponsoring this kind of registration. The other day, remember, the political registrar of parties, they were saying that they were denied quite a lot of money, and they were unable to fully verify and finish the registration of political parties. That was done, of course, by this same government because they do not believe in multipartism, something that quite a number of people died for while they were looking for. The likes of Orengo, remember the 1997, 1998. I was not there, but I've watched those things. And to me, the kind of movement I saw that time, people fighting to get the multipartism, it was not easy. Quite a number of people died. And in that quest, we need to embrace and ensure that all those things, good things, democracy, and all those things that the people of Kenya fought for, we need to, we need to ensure that we give room of improvement. But in a situation where you're seeing a government, instead of giving room of improvement, they're the ones who are doing away with the good deeds that have been made by the people of Kenya. The question that then comes is, which kind of future are we going to have as a people? It is so unfair. It is so unfair to frustrate the people of Kenya. It is so unfair to frustrate people who are coming out to speak for the people. But above all, the people's life really matter. To me, the people's life really matter. And you, in a situation where you have leaders who do not care, leaders who are involving themselves in corrupt dealings. I'm wondering, for example, and I can ask Simba here, for example, if it is a matter of legislation, if it is a matter of representation, I'm not a supporter of Edwin Sifuna, but I like part of the things that they are doing. In your normal mind, would you, even if you have everything, kila iko sawa, kila kitu iko sawa, will you start bringing somebody like Jalango and you're sponsoring him to become a senator in your normal, those are some of the questions that I ask myself because, well, you might
But
be having problems with certain leaders, which is okay. Allow me to just finish and then you'll pick. You might be having problem with certain leaders. I'm not belittling anybody, but let us be very factual.
yeah.
In terms of legislation and what the role of a senator, would you, in your normal mind, support somebody like Jalango instead of Edwin Sifuna? Even if it is a matter of, it is, to me, I think we are not being factual. More of what we are doing is we are doing an emotional decision at a point where the truth of the matter is the situation is not right.
All
The
right.
people are suffering, and instead of really looking at the real issue, analyzing the issue, and coming up with serious measures of ensuring that you tackle the issue, what we are focusing on is what are we going to get? What are we going to get? We are focusing on our own personal, and anybody is going to mwenye anaenda kukusifu, whether you're doing right, whether you're doing wrong, so long as wanakusifu, it is so unfortunate. And I can tell you, with this kind of movement that we are seeing, if the government manages to ensure, to bring forth these people or people who have a character of not, majority of them, I can tell you, are not leaders. They are being brought forth because they have a voice. They can entertain you. They can sifu you. They can clap for you. That is where they're being brought in. But in terms of intellectual, in terms of productivity, akuna. So to me, it is so inappropriate.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And I just want to follow up some issues with you, especially when it comes to election or when it reaches a point whereby now somebody is contesting, because like if you look at our constitution, it gives everybody right to vie for a particular seat. Especially when you do the comparison of Jalango and Sifuna. I think that one could be left to the residents of Nairobi or the people that are going to those are going to vote to decide what kind of leadership that they want. Secondly, maybe in your own opinion, what would be the best way, especially for this government, especially the government and the leadership of the UDA, what can they do, especially to make sure, especially the issues you raised, like education, the issues raised about the KMTC, all that, what is it that they should put in place, especially?
Brother Ben, the truth of the matter is there's a lot of lying or liars in this government, and it's unfortunate. And me, I'll not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Because it is starting from the president, trickling down to the cabinet secretaries, to the governors, quite a number of those leaders. And let us be just truthful as we can, because the leaders, they know the problem. It is not that they don't know. The other day, look at the number of youths who were killed on the street. Look at the reason why these guys were on the street.
Yeah.
I was part of that movement. I cannot deny. If they want to come for me, they can come for me. If you ask me why I went to the street, I have reasons, and quite a number of them. I cannot continue suffering in a country where either we suffered, either we went to school by either selling part of the pieces of land that we had, and now when you've sold it, the question that then comes is, you sold it with the mentality that you are going to get some successful job somewhere and
Yeah.
possibly be paid back, or buy another place where you possibly have a good life. But in a situation where you've sold it and then you are now ripe for work and there's no work, what do you do? How do you survive? Those are some of the things or the questions that the people are asking. It is not that Kenyans are lazy. It is not that Kenyans are not doing what they can do. They have done what they've done. It is only that the government on their side have not done what they can do. Let me give you today. I was traveling some few, let me say an hour ago, I was in a matatu, and I had people speaking about the war that is going on, and there's quite a number of Kenyans who are outside the Republic. Some of them are in the Middle East. And I don't know whether you've seen the video. Some of them have been recording themselves when the missiles and all those kind of things are passing.
Yeah.
Then they record themselves and say that, hey, we are learning, and possibly when you get back to the country, tutafanya mambo na this DJ called
Afro.
What is his name? I'm forgetting.
DJ Afro.
DJ Afro. What comes to your mind when you see something that to others it is a big thing? If it was in US that those missiles were passing, you'll not see somebody in the street. They would be protected by all means. But look at these Kenyans. These are Kenyans in the Middle East doing such a thing. What comes to your mind? How are to, in short, like they're telling themselves that if it is death, let death come, as we've done. We've done our part. That is like people have lost hope. And that is why you're seeing people are risking their lives. Even some of them are going to the Middle East. As much as they're being told that Middle East, for example, is not safe, they're saying, let me go. We meet that unsafety thing over there. That is how Kenyans are. And that tells you that Wakenya ni watu wanajituma. It is only that they are not given a platform. It is that serious. They're not given an environment to survive. And that is the painful bit. And we need to be very categorical. The government of UDA knows and understands the challenges of the people of Kenya. It is only that they have wameamua kuziba masikio to the problems. They don't want to tackle, they don't want to solve the problems. It is not that they don't know, they know. The Gen Zs reminded them, and the Gen Zs used all the available mechanisms to remind them of the challenges. The question then comes, what did they do? After that movement, after that demonstration, did you see any changes? What we saw were a number of people being hijacked and taken to the cabinet secretary, and today we're being called their experts. The other day I saw the cabinet secretary in charge of energy being interviewed by a journalist by the name I'm forgetting, Yvonne Kwara. And if you hear or you saw how the expert was speaking, it tells you that this is not a technocrat or an expert as we had been told. So all these things are PR. And it is so unfortunate that there are PRs that are being played by the lives of the people of Kenya. The level of crime in Kenya or in Nairobi itself. The other day I told you we lost a cousin. We lost a cousin in circumstances that are not clear. The question that is coming is, how many people are we going to lose, for example? And when is the government going to learn or to get to know that the environment is not safe? Why is it that there's an increase in these bad behaviors? The increase is coming because the youths are idle. They have to survive. That is why they're mugging people. That is why they're, forcing people to do things which are not right. Why is it that the government himself, through the government leaders, governors, are hiring youths to be or to act like goons? What kind of picture are you giving? What kind of education are you giving to the people of Kenya? What kind of education are you giving to the future or to the young people? And then it's so unfortunate that you give them 50 shillings.
No, Makobura is not 50 shillings. The price tag has gone up. Actually, from the sources we're getting is like it's 1,000. For you to attend this rally, you have to get 1,000 and above.
But are we being, is that how it should go? Are we then minding that we are all these other people, these people that you are giving money to become goons? You know, we are treating the political class are treating other Kenyans as if they are not human enough. And that is now the challenge that we are facing as a people. How I wish the likes of our good friend Simba Netaya would just stand up and talk about the real issues instead of sugarcoating, instead of supporting a government that you do not understand even the basis. Instead of you are support. Hey, I wonder if nashangaa huyu ndugu yetu ako wapi? Sijui kama
Okay,
Kenya.
hebu acha tulete Simba Natae. Simba, kuna maswali mengi ndugu yetu amesema. Jambo la kwanza ambapo nimepata kusikia kutoka kwa ndugu yangu ni mambo kuhusiana na mambo ya shule. Sana sana amezungumzia sana KMTC, na vile vile nakumbuka kuna wakati rais mwenyewe alitoa amri kwamba wale watoto ambao walikuwa wanafaa waingie grade 10 wanafaa wafike shuleni hata kama wana school uniform na karo. Watu wajafika na bado watu wanadaiwa school fee. Hiyo ni jambo la kwanza. Ndugu yetu pia amezungumzia mambo ya vita ambayo inaendelea duniani kati ya Marekani na Iran. Akazungumzia Wakenya ambao labda walikuwa wanachukua kanda la video au wakasema kwamba hao maneno yote. Labda tukianzia hapo, hebu tuzungumzie kama mtu ambaye ni mtu ambaye wa ndani wa kabisa wa broad based government kuhusu mambo ya shule. Labda wale watoto ambao walikuwa wanafaa ingie shule bila ama wakiwa hawana school uniform, hawana karo, wameingia? Na kama wameingia, labda utuambie. Pili, na hayo mambo mengine wao pia amesema. Simba huko?
Yes, brother.
Yes.
Unanipata?
Nakupata vizuri sana kakangu.
Unajua nimesikiza sana na ni vizuri ndugu yangu Makobura. Nataka nikuambie jambo la kwanza, Kenya is not a Sunday school country. Nor it's not ninaweza nikakuelezea nini ile yenye at least tunaweza. So first of all, kwa sababu mimi niko na mahali huwa naendaga kuabudu, najua mambo ya Sunday school. Kwa hivyo Kenya ni nchi ambayo iko na sera za kisiasa na dini. So kuna mambo ambayo nataka utofautishe hapo. Jambo la pili, nimesikia ukiongea kuhusu mambo ya wanafunzi na nimesikiza vizuri. Ni vizuri vile ulisema kwamba vile unajua mimi ni msasi. Ndio, last month nilikuwa academic day kwa shule yenye nilienda. Watoto ambao wameadmitiwa wengine wamekuja na uniform sa shule zenye walikuwa wamesoma from grade 9 na kuendelea. Na hivyo hiyo ndio hali yenye iko. Ile kitu yenye serikali inajaribu kutimisha ni 100% transition, kwamba mtoto Mkenya ako shuleni. Na kuna sababu ya mtoto kuwa shule, sio kulipa school fees.
Yeah.
Iko sababu. Kitu cha kwanza muelewe ni kwa nini mtoto anatakiwa apatikane shuleni. Sio school fees, sio uniform. Mtoto yeyote Mkenya awe ako kwa mazingira ambayo anahitajika kwa sababu moja ama nyingine. Haya mengine yote mimi unajua ndio nilisema kwanza nataka niseme kwa ufupi mambo ambayo pia Makobura umeongelea juu ya Wakenya wakiwa Middle East kwa sababu walikosa kitu ya kufanya hapa. Ni ukweli vile unasema, na sio Wakenya peke yao wako Middle East. Mimi nimewahi fanya kazi huko wakati mmoja. Mimi sifanyi kazi katika serikali. Nataka nikuelezee viwango za watu ambao wanapatikana huko. Huko kuna Wamarekani, kuna Wahindi, kuna Wanepali, wa Sri Lanka au wa Nigeria, wa Ghana, all nationalities wanapatikana pale kwa sababu ya kujitafutia. So wakati unaongelea kuwa Wakenya eti walikosa kazi kwa sababu serikali haina kazi sijui nini, nashangaa sana. Au nationalities wote wengine wenye wanafanya kazi huko ni Wakenya pia. Unajua, jambo la kwanza tujipende kama Wakenya. Kitu cha kwanza tuwe Wakenya, tuwe wazalendo, tupende nchi yetu. Sio kila kitu ni criticize government, mara ijafanya. Saizi government imeset up an infrastructure fund ya kuestablish nchi yetu na watu wapate kazi ambazo wanaweza enda kutafuta huko nje. Saizi hayo yakifanyika, watu bado mnalalamika ni kutoa vitisho, kufanya nini, wengine nasikia wanasema wanakimbia sijui mahakamani. Hayo yote wacha yafanyike. Hii nchi sio eti kila mtu atatosheka na mambo ambayo anafikiria kwa fikira zake. Kila mtu ako hapa kupita. Haya mambo yote yanafanyika for generational prosperity. Sio kila mtu atafaidika.
Okay, mi Simba niko na swali nataka kukuuliza. Umeongelea swali mzuri, ukatoa mfano kwamba kuna wakati juzi kate, kama sijakosea, ulikuwa umeenda shule. Katika shule ambayo ulienda ukapata kwamba kuna watoto ambao walikuja na sare za shule ambazo si za shule ya grade 10. Hiyo ni mzuri. Sasa swali langu ni je, kwa sababu hata sisi ambao tuko hapa mara mingi tunapata kwamba tunachangia katika magroup fulani. Hata ukienda katika social media utapata kwamba mtu anahitaji pesa fulani. Inamaanisha wale ambao wako karibu sana na serikali ndio wanapata nafasi kwa hizi shule, kwa sababu ama tu ni Wakenya wote? Na kama ni kweli Wakenya wote wanapata, mbona mzazi mgani anaweza lalamika kama serikali wamesema kwamba inafaa watoto waende shule na rais ametoa kauli, na bado unapata mzazi ambaye anataka mtoto wake asome, mbona mzazi analalamika?
Let me add this question before
karibu na serikali, kwa sababu ni
allow me to just add this.
Yeah.
And to tell our good friend Simba, I respect his views. Personally, I studied when I was in campus, I was in a private institution, and I remember we had an arrangement where we would be allowed to pay school fee in 2 installments. And remember, that's a private university, and that arrangement would be accepted by the school, which is a private institution. I can mention even the name over here. But then today, that was during the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Today, we have a new government of William Samoei Ruto, led by the UDA. And they keep on telling us about education. What really pains me is that these people are lying left, right, and center. And I ask myself, why do you lie before a multitude of people? You know, if you want to lie, you can lie to 1, 2, 3 people, Nisao. But why do you lie to a majority of people and in front of everybody? It is not right even before God. I can lie to you, Brother Ben, but I cannot come here and now start lying to you and everyone who is watching. That is not right. So personally, I've seen the president talk about education, university or primary, and I'll still give you the same example. Brother Ben, I'm quite sure that you have brothers or colleagues, friends, or I'm quite sure you pay a university school fee or either college or university to quite a number of people. Whether it's university or which one. I don't know whether you are paying one for any KMTC.
No.
Yeah, so let me tell you what KMTC does. In my understanding, the fee arrangement and how it should be paid in KMTCs should not be as strict as the university, because generally this is Kenya Medical whatever. It is even having the name of Kenya in it. So this is a public institution, my understanding. And it, in terms of fee payment and all those kind of things, they're the ones who should come up with a way of entertaining quite a number of huge students by not giving them very strict terms on how the fee payment should be paid. But you find that today it is not easy going to that institution which is government owned. You will find that it is easy even studying in a private institution than going to anything that is government controlled, because the president will come out and tell you that, oh, msifukuze watu fee. But if you get to the ground, you get there and you tell, they will tell you that there is a decree that you have to pay the whole fee in the first week when you're coming, when you're coming back to start the semester. And the question that then comes is, who then is it government, and how is it that government is trying to assist people? Why did they even come up with these things that are government connected? For what reason? These are a waste of time. These are the way that these people are collecting and even siphoning money in Kenya. And I can tell you, these politicians are billionaires. Some of them are trillionaires, not because they are working hard, but because they're siphoning money from the people of Kenya.
Okay.
Is that unfortunate? And I really wonder, mimi sijui huyu ndugu yetu sijui anatoka wapi, sijui ako wapi, lakini yeye anajua. I will not criticize his comments, but truth be told, every opinion of course matters. Let us not support things blindly. Or me, even today, this platform, suppose let me give you an example. Suppose I'm faced by a politician, maybe a wealthy politician, then they tell me they're going to give me millions to support them or to mention their names. Even if I take that million, let me tell you,
in the first place, you should not take that million if you know your ideology or what you stand for does not go in line with the person that you want to support. In the first
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I want to be very categorical.
If
they give me, I will not leave. I'm not lying. And the reason why I will not leave is because
that is, you're compromising yourself, Makobura.
I'm let me give you why I'll not leave. Should Ruto himself face me here, I will not leave the money that he will give me. But one thing, I'll not, even if it is mambo ya media ndo niachane nayo na nitoroke, I cannot support something that is not truthful, because you want to come out and speak positively about a government that is killing the youths. You want to speak about, positively about a government that is making the lives of the majority of people tough.
You
that
see,
is not.
Makobura, before I invited Musimamo left, this is what you should know. If there's what we call values and beliefs. What are your values and what do you believe in? Yeah. If you've taken some money, and you, with a reason, so you have to perform that duty. It's like delivery, for instance. When you send the letter, you're sending the letter to somebody. That process will be in completion if the letter is delivered to the receiver. Yeah, and the receiver will make sure that you open the letter and read the content of the letter. Then you would say that process is completed. For instance, if I mail you a letter through the postal office, you go get this letter, but you fail to open and read the content of the letter, it means the process has not been completed. You can receive the letter, yes, but you don't read the content. That means the process is not completed. So this is what happens. Actually, if you don't share no idea with any anybody or who wants to use you to popularize or to send a message to any kind of population, and you believe that there's no ideology or there's nothing that you share in common, then you have that opportunity to reject that offer and say, no, that is not what I stand for. But the very moment you get that offer and you get the payment and you fail to deliver, then you've compromised yourself and your institution at large. That's what I think.
Let me tell you what is happening outside here.
Yeah.
And currently in the political limelight, environment, you see these broad-based guys, these people, and especially the ones who are coming from ODM, these people, some of them are being financed by this government to do the campaign. And I can tell you the money that they are using, that they're being funded with to move around, these are money that are coming from there. That has been, this is money that has been collected or gotten from the people of Kenya. And so the question we are asking is, the people of Kenya are paying taxes. The people of Kenya are waking up very early every day to work, and they're being taxed. Instead of their taxes being used to give back or to make their lives easy, it is not happening that way. Instead, what is happening, this money is being given to selected people, because either way they want to reach people, they want to bribe people, or they want to ensure that whatever they are preaching is well received. Some of the monies that are being used even to pay these goons that you are mentioning, 1,000, these are money that have been collected from the people of Kenya. So if majority of political class are using the money of the people of Kenya, some of them are being given 10 million watumie kutengeneza ground, and then they approach you as a Kenyan, you cannot continue suffering, and that is of course still your money. You take that money, use it to do some positive things, because if you don't take it, the truth of the matter is they are still going to bado wanaendelea kuiba, and they're still going to be given those millions of money.
Let me ask you, Makobura, before we invite Msimamo, if this money was got through corruption, and even you, with your knowledge, you know that the money that I'm having or the money that I'm taking is a money that its sources was not gotten in the right way. As a citizen, do you think you are in a position to say that you're
it is not right, and of course based on what we've always been taught in terms of our normal beliefs, we are not supposed to be engaging in such kind of activities. That is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
And I'll not want to use the word but I'd want to say this. It is, I even don't know how to put it.
Okay, as you think how to put it, let me ask Mzalendo, Msimamo. Labda we kauli yako ni vipi? Tulikuwa tunajadili hapa mambo ya pesa ambao labda tuseme kwamba unapatiwa na ujui sana sana pesa.
Brother, let me just say this kabla Msimamo akuje. You've seen the broad-based, for example. You've seen when they're going to the ground. And I've told you, there is a dire state, a dire need amongst the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Some of them are going without food. I can tell you, it is the truth of the matter. Some of them are going without meals. That is the truth of the matter.
Yes, we agree.
And let me say me here, they have given me 1 million. I cannot fail to give it to those people who are in dire need, because at long last the lives of the people matters first. So as much as it is not right to pick this kind of monies, it is true, it is not right, but the environment itself is not safe. You like
And
how are you going to go about that? Maybe if you can give us your take as well.
Makubura, you know what is happening when you allow that, what you're saying, that people are in dire need of this, and who has created that dire need is the leadership that we have, because the leadership should always come up with modalities, or can come up with laws to make sure that every citizen has a way in which they don't suffer. You know, for instance, how can we make the cost of living lower, or bring it down the cost of living? How can you do that? One of the ways that you can do that is maybe to offer incentives, especially to the producers. You know, when it reaches a point whereby, as a country, for instance, the major production of the country, there's something like we import majority of the food, so which means our production is very less, you know. So that's where the problem is. But if we say we keep on taking and say that because people are in dire need, so which means we are encouraging and they take advantage of that. What if what we say, because these rumors are coming from the ground, that for you to attend this rally, at some point you get even like 1,000 and you get mobilization, the buses will be hired, you have to ferry in the bus. What if it reaches a point whereby the people say that, okay, we don't need this, but we want lasting solution, you know? Do you think the members of parliament, or those who are doing that, will start to engage in such? Because the provision has been founded, they know very well that there is that people do not have. So the only way that in which we can hoodwink them is to give the money and go to attend. And if you look at even those, the money that are being given, like 1,000, at the end of the day, it's a one-day thing. The following day, you do not have that money. So which means there's no lasting solution for that. That is just for a short-lived, you know. So, and if we encourage to do that the way it is being done, that's why you see all this chaos and everything that is happening. And that's why you see that sometimes leaders do not bring legislation that can enable environment that job can be created. How can we create jobs, especially when there's an investor? You know, when an investor comes, there's some of the roadblocks, bureaucracy. Those are some of the things that you need to stop. You know, whereby a plant want to be put in a place, a politician will say, before you put that plant, I want like a 10 billion for me to allow you to put that. So you see all those corruption and those are the things that should be worked on. But if we encourage that, then I tell you, Makobura, people will always be in dire need, because the solution has not provided. They only provide management solutions. You know, they manage you with those small money. So if you know that this is going to compromise your values and virtues, then you rather die hungry and, you know, fight for it and be like somebody who amplify. You stand and tell people it's not the right thing to do. You know, that's what I think. Wewe mzalendo, labda unaweza sema nini? Mzalendo amepotea tena?
Naam kaka.
Yeah.
Sikukupata vizuri hapo mwisho.
Labda wacha nikuulize swali. Hii jambo ambalo tuko nayo hapa ni jambo ambalo unapata kwamba Makobura alikuwa anatoa mfano kulingana na venye mambo iko na venye wakati ni ngumu. Unapata kwamba mwanasiasa amekupatia hata milioni 10. Unasema kwamba unachukua. Yeah? Ukichukua unaona kwamba kutakuwa na mabadiliko ama itakuwa aje wewe kwako? Wewe unasema nini? Wewe unasema aje?
Ukichukua majibu kuzungumza kweli. Kwa hiyo itakufaidi kwa kufanya yako, lakini si kwa ajili ya wengine, na ndio maana wengi tunajipata kwenye hiyo trap. Maana haiwezekani wewe nitie milioni 10 alafu mimi niimbe mtu mwingine sitakuimba kaka. Kwa nitafanya kila jitihada nihakikishe kwamba wewe hata kama hufai, lakini nimekufanya unafaa kwa kumiminia sifa hata pasipo stahili hizo sifa zenyewe. Kwa hiyo kwa kweli mweyote ambaye anachukua haswa masuala kama haya, basi ndio mwenye kutunyima haki, kwa sababu ni kweli watu wanachukua ule alafu utafanya maamuzi, lakini haiwezekani, kwa sababu kama utakuwa pengine ndo umekuwa ni mtu kabadilisha maisha yako na kila kitu, uongo, lazima utamuimba yeye tu, wala hutaimba lenye tija, kwa sababu wewe ndio umefaidi, na ndio unakuta hata viongozi. Kwa mfano tumezungumzia masuala ya finance pale, tukianza tukasema mbali, na sasa hivi tumeenda mbali masuala kwa bena umepo, kwa sababu yuko pale pale, lakini mtu mwingine ambaye hayuko pale nje ya hapo, basi anaumia. So kwa kweli mimi naweza nikasema yeyote anayechukua pesa swa kwa njia hii, basi si mwenye tija, ni kwa ajili yake, yani tamaa za tumbo lake ndio zinamuongoza. Asante.
Okay, asante sana.
Let me put it clear on my side. This is what I and I've given the example as well. Today I meet let me say whoever that politician, and then they tell me they want to give me money. I can tell you, okay, my view, maybe you are not getting the other side.
Yeah,
this is
so just what is your view?
Let me give you this bit. Now I say that, for example, I want to go for the governorship of Kisumu, and then they offer me that they are going to give me money for campaign.
Yes,
because apparently that is what they do. And especially when you are singing their song. If they tell me that they're giving me money for campaign, I will not deny it. I'm speaking based on the things which are happening here.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, if they give me that money, to me, my bigger view would be, this money, there are people who really need money on the ground. There are people who are going without food on the ground. There are people who need to start businesses on the ground. The truth of the matter is, a government will not, the president today, the President Ruto will not give you money. Let me say, you by mistake, that you go start business. They will not give you. But again, if you are their proxies, they will give you money, and especially give you instruction that because they know you are going to benefit. I mean, they're going to benefit something from you. Either, yes, you are getting into politics and you're going to use their political party, or you're going to serve their interest. That is when you will find that they might give you money, and with a view that there is something that they're expecting out of it. But what I'm saying is, if I'm going to stand for governorship in Kisumu, let's say by UDA, and they're giving people who are going to stand with that political party money for campaign, I will not stop taking the money. I will take the money with a mentality of going to solve the little problems that are being faced by the people. Because if you fail to take it, it is the money that has been taken from the people. It is just like taking from one from the right hand and bringing this money to the right hand. It is still money that is belonging to a specific person. It is still money that is belonging to the people of Kenya. And that is what I mean with the statement that I was putting across.
Makobura, with that statement, I still have a point of departure with you, because you've spoken of a few things here. One of them, you've spoken about the people on the ground who would go without food. So, for instance, if you take that money, how are you going to solve that? Because let's say that you've been given that kind of million. what is the sustainability of that money to make sure that these people will be provided with food on each and every day? That is one. Secondly, talking about
let me
no, I'm just still asking you. You will tell us the sustainability with that money, whatever amount, with the people that you're going to lead. For instance, we are talking of Kisumu County, you know the population, and you have this money. So the sustainability of that, that is something that you also have to explain to us. Secondly, is about the business. You can give people the money for the business, but if there are no legislation, especially to make that business thrive, that business will not grow. You can be given the money, but if there's an overtaxation of such like business, we've seen people have been given the money, even including the Nyota Fund. Tell me of those businesses, if 100% of them have taken off. And the reason why they've not taken off, Makubura, is this. Is because the market condition that have been they are operating on is not favorable for them, because the taxes in place does not give them that. So tell us the sustainability of providing the food and also the business, not taking off the business environment.
you see this money that this government is using, for example, to I don't know whether you've seen this thing called a Nyota.
Yes.
This is also a smart way of siphoning money from from the people, money that belongs to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
And it is a smart way of doing playing politics.
Yeah.
It is a smart way, let me put it this way, of bribing the people of Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the best word to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a narrative that has been brought up by the president, and it is being directed to the youth because he knows the vulnerability. He knows the state of the Kenyan youth. He knows the difficulties and the challenges that are being faced by the people of Kenya. And the president thinks that by coming out to give them 20,000 is going to change their view. It's going to change their political stand. But I can tell you, 20,000 in the world that we are in today cannot start a business, cannot sustain you. That is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to the question that you've asked. But the question again that I might ask you on this, because the truth of the matter is this is a bribing scheme that has been brought by the government himself.
Yeah. And
they're doing so as a way of entertaining young people to change their mind on their political stand. So Marco, my question to you is, it all applies.
You are running away from what we were discussing.
I'm getting that. I'm just giving you an example. You've asked me if he gives me money. Let me tell you an example. If Ruto gives you money today through Nyota Fund, it is a political way of trying to change your thinking and political stand. If he meets me today, for example, somewhere, and he gives me maybe that 20,000, it is the same thing. The only difference over here is the way it has been given. But all of it is coming from one point. The agenda is one thing. So what I'm saying is, there's all of it, to me, it is not right, because there are all ways of bribing.
Yeah.
But would you stop giving if he comes through Nyota, for example, and is giving somebody who is vulnerable that 20,000? How are they going to survive if they don't take it? And of course, this is money that is coming from the people of Kenya. And something else, let me tell you, if you fail to take that money through the Nyota, for example, it is not going to stop him from bribing other people. It is not right to continue bribing the people, yes. But a Kenyan who has no food today, a Kenyan who has no way of paying fee today, a Kenyan who cannot afford their basic need today, truth be told, and with the environment and the circumstances that are there, is he going to stop taking that 20,000 from the Nyota Fund?
He's not going to stop taking that. But now, you know, there's something here that we have to talk about, because you are giving an example of in a situation whereby you are running for Kisumu governor and you've been given this money. And at that point, you say that this money, you can take it and give it to the people to buy food. So that is where we are basing our conversation and say that what is the sustainability of the money that you've been given? Because like you will give them the money for food today. What about tomorrow? That is one. Look at even like you said that those who wants to do the business, and you've given an example with the Nyota Fund. Getting Nyota Fund is a good idea if it was done in the best way. But what you have to look at the sustainability. What is the sustainability of them starting those businesses, and who are you giving this money? Because, for instance, let's say that we want to give you a Nyota Fund. You want to start business. What kind of business are you going to start? What kind of business are you going to start? Because, for instance, one thing with the business, it's not usually issue of starting the business. There are people who have started with the business with a lot of money. Yes, those businesses have ended up collapsing and not doing well. For instance, I want to give you a typical example. When I was doing, I was doing a feasibility study back then in Kisumu, and there are quite some of the buildings that we listed out that these businesses. You look at how the customers, the good businesses would come and set their premises there, but you find a period of 6 months, they are not the customers or the people who have rented those shops, they end up moving out. And now you start to look at what could be the possibility. Why is that this business is good and is located in a very prime area where accessibility is quite much high? But what happens is that the people within a period of 6 months, you find yourself closing down on that shop and moving to another area. And there's few things that came, we pointed out. One was about the renting space, the money that was being charged per square feet. You find that the rent itself was quite much higher, that somebody you can pay that rent. And if you pay that rent, so which means the product that you're going to offer has to go on high prices. So which means you will have the low demand. And when you have low demand, so which means the people will not be buying. Yeah. So you cannot sustain that. So you look at what we call the payback period for your business within a period of 6 months. It is impossible. So you find the business that were doing well, they decided to keep off from those kind of particular building based on how they were charging the rental spaces, and the people who are renting adjacent buildings to that buildings, some of the business were thriving. So when you look at what is happening, especially when you're giving all this Nyota Fund, some of the things that should put in place is, one, look at the market favorability. What is the favorable market? How is market responding? And what are you going to do in that? You look at that market and you see that what is missing in the market that I can bring. It's not only starting the business. That is one. Secondly, what are the taxes? Especially, for instance, you are given the Nyota Fund, the first phase should be 22,000. Yeah, 25,000. Out of that 25,000, there's an amount that is going for NSSF and all that, and by the time it is getting to you is 25. Remember, sometimes you want to rent a space. How much are you going to pay to rent this space, and where are you going to put this business, and who are your competitors? So those are some of the things that you should look at, and that's why you find that majority of the people who have gotten that money, their business has not picked. So that is one. Then secondly, compare ourselves with Botswana, who were also given the same money, and look at the manner in which they are doing it. It is not the way the president is doing it. When you look at how the Botswanans are doing it, it's quite much different. So I think,
Brother Ben, let me say this.
Yeah.
I'm not in support of bribes. Neither am I advocating for that.
Yeah.
And the conversation we are having here
Yeah.
was a simple one question that was brought forth.
Yes.
And that is what I'm giving my opinion on.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned here, the government is bribing the people of Kenya by all means.
True.
And I've given you an example of Nyota Fund. The truth of the matter is, the Nyota Fund is a special way of bribing the people of Kenya, and specifically the youths. And again, I have said that the government is using a lot of ways to bribe the people of Kenya. And the reason why people of Kenya are falling for these bribes, it is not because they want to fall for the bribes. It is because the government has ensured that the environment is not okay for the people to survive.
Yeah.
And I did give, if you remember the examples that I had given before, I said that the political class has managed the environment. They have managed the environment to an extent that the people of Kenya has to depend on them. If you want something, you have to follow them. If you don't follow them, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And that is why, again, remember the example that I'd given about the general feeling of the people of Kenya and why they have gotten to a point where it looks like they don't care. If the world is coming to end today, the people of Kenya can tell you they are ready. They will not even run. They will not even run. Niseme maji imeanza kutoka huko juu inakuja. Kenyans will not run. What they will do, they will sit there and start taking selfie. That now maji, water is coming to sweep us. Water is coming to sweep us. We are dying. And it is like it's a normal thing to them in this manner. So bribing the people is not right. But the environment has been it has been made like a norm in the Republic of Kenya. And I gave you quite a number of situations of what are happening. The number of people in Kenya who are not able to afford their basic needs is on another level. Both education, both their daily meals, and you cannot lie based on the circumstances. I'm just giving you a typical feeling of a Kenyan in whichever village. Go to any village in the Republic of Kenya. I'm giving you a typical thinking and a typical thing that is happening on the ground. I'm not taking side. If I'm a Christian, let me tell you. And of course, when you are when we were doing CRE and all those other things, there's a way. And of course, based on my belief, there's a way on how I should handle quite a number of things. But what I'm giving you is a typical reaction of a Kenyan. Get to whichever village, they will tell you this.
But you know, Makobura, I'm not denying all that you are saying. You know, when we started,
the other day Miguda was here. I don't know whether he has told you. He was in Migori the other day. And this team that is led by Dr. Oburu, they were going to Migori. And quite a number of members of parliament were given money to mobilize.
True.
And let me tell you what happened. You find that from my intels, you find that a member of parliament is given 10 million to mobilize the ground. But what the member of parliament will do is they will take the 10 million, maybe release 1 million, and 9 million, they have placed it in their own pockets. So this 1 million, they want to now give to somebody who is lower than them, maybe a member of county assembly. For example, they give it that 1 million that now do the mobilization. What the member of county assembly will do is he will take 900,000 in his pocket and then now use 100. So this 100 is also going to give somebody who is next to him 100,000. The person will take 90,000 and now use 10 million on the ground. But at the end of the day, you will find that out of 10 million that was given, that they were given to bribe the people, only 10,000 has gotten to the ground. But remember, that ground has 10,000 people. So you will realize that they will get either 10 bob, 10 bob, 10 bob. And the question that then comes is, how are these people going to deny accepting this 10 bob? I'm telling you, people queued. Ask me, good, I will tell you. Even late at night, they were being given 50 shillings. And the reason why they're coming out late at night to queue to be given 50 shillings, it is not that because they want, and Miguda is here, we'll tell you. Thank you so much, Miguda, for coming.
Okay, Makobura.
The reason why, let me just finish. The reason why people will queue to be given that 50 shillings late at night is it is not that it is not that like they have no alternative. It is the yani maisha yao imesimama hapo. Hey, you know, maybe you guys should get to the ground and get to understand what is happening.
Makobura, you know where we are having a point of departure with you. Everything that you are saying is right, and it is something that is happening. But you know, you painted for us a scenario that we wanted you to actually tell us on how you can solve that. You know, the scenario, I was following up on the scenario that you painted, and the issue is compromising your morals. That is what we are talking about, especially like when you say that when you're given that money, if you are running for a governor, you can get this money and give people to start business and feed those who are going angry. And that's why I ask you about the sustainability of that money you're going to feed people. I told you about giving these people the businesses, yet
it cannot sustain. The truth of the matter is it cannot sustain.
Okay, now you've answered that question. So it cannot sustain. So which means you should not compromise your moral, knowing very well that what you are taking is not going to solve the issues that people are facing. That is where I was driving at.
Whatever you're saying is right, and that is how it should be. I'm not disputing even a single thing.
Yeah.
But also should not be used when we're having this conversation. But let me say this. The ground, the situation, the suffering of, allow me to just finish. I'd said, remember in my first remarks, I'd said that I do not, by all means, advocate for bribe and all those kind of things. You know, let me give you an example. Let me give you a good example. If you are a Christian or if you've read the Bible, the Bible talks about quite a number of things.
Yes.
Including issues to do with lies are not entertained within the Bible.
True.
But let me give you remember Abraham. Abraham was a husband to Sarah. And remember when they were crossing, when they were in Egypt. And then when they got to Egypt, it was Pharaoh, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
It was Pharaoh who wanted, who looked at Sarah and felt that Sarah was a good woman. And he asked whether she had somebody. And remember, Abraham lied that he's not the husband. Do you remember that?
I do.
And it is in the Bible.
You know,
let me just put it this way.
Yeah.
And again, that is what the Bible says.
Okay.
The same Bible does not in any way advocate for lies and all those kind of things. So remember, we are children of God.
Yeah.
At times we can, I'm not justifying anything again using Bible. I'm just giving you examples, and don't misquote my words.
We're not misquoting your words.
At times the environment might be hostile. And you can use a tactic to survive. When you use that tactic, it wouldn't mean that that tactic that you've used reflects who you are. You get, I don't know whether that is coming out. I don't know whether I'm using the right terms to
the tactic that you're using, that should reflect who you are, because you're the person who is using it. There's no in which
then you've not gotten the example of what I told you.
Yeah.
It is not right to lie, right? The Bible says that. But again, Abraham got himself at a point where he had to use a tactic to survive. If he would have said that he is the husband to Sarah, then things are not going to be positive or good for him.
So which
so
means,
you had to say that he is not the husband.
so which
He
means,
did so.
yeah.
He did so to survive.
So
He didn't do that like
Marco Bura, you know, let me tell you something.
Come here and
No,
maybe
Marco, you know what is
what I'm
happening?
saying.
The more you explain yourself, the more you're complicating for yourself. You're making matters for yourself. Now, let me just weigh in some issues here, because what we are talking about is about the moral decay that we are seeing that has been created by the leadership. You know, and what has necessitated that is that the leaders have realized one thing, that the majority of Kenyans do not have employment and they need their support. And what do? They do not provide those solutions. And what solution do they come with? They come with the solution to give this, the majority of Kenyans, and hiring these boys for short-term lived, because they do not have jobs. They're being hired, ferried to go to this. So that is something that we have to agree. So as somebody who knows what moral is as a leader, one of the things that you should not do, especially if you give your context of what you explained earlier, which I'm still referring to, if you're given money, especially that, oh, this is money we are giving you to propagate or to say something that relates to us, which is against your moral, the best option that is left for you is not to get it, because if you do, by the time you do it, whether you get it and provide those feeding program and give those business, you are conflicted already, because you've gone against your morals. I think that is the normal, or that is the least that I can do. If, for instance, there are things that I stand for, yeah, and I cannot compromise them for any sake, because if I compromise them, then it means that is who am I, because as the man thinketh, that's who the man is. What the mind thinks, that is who you are. You cannot use any tactic. For instance, I can use a tactic to say that I'm Makobura. No, any tactic that I'm going to use, that is me. It doesn't transfer that tactic to anybody. Anything that I use, that explains me. If I go to the community, my community, and I do something that is not right to the community will say, this is not how I was raised. This is him, So everything that you do, especially, that should be you. So I think that the baseline is this. If there is something that is going to compromise what you stand for, then the best idea is to say no. For instance, I would give you a typical example. I think you've seen Maraga. There was a time Maraga swore by the Bible, if there's any bribe that he has taken, because he said that is not him, and he swore by the Bible. So even if the circumstances warrants that, as a leader, you should not aid those or aid that political slavery, but find a way of how can me as a leader, come up with solutions that are going to make sure that the employment that we are going to have for the youths are long lasting, to the business that they are going to get into,
Brother Ben,
a good business.
Everything that you've said is right, it is perfect, and it is the truth of the matter. And I don't dispute. It is how life should be. But what I'm saying is, that is how life should be. But on ground, it is not that way.
Yes, I agree, Makobura. I agree.
And maybe allow Miguda to also just give his views. Kabla aende. Miguda, Miguda, are you there?
Amia, what were you saying? What were you discussing, you guys?
No, we are just giving our views on the issue of what is currently happening in the ground, and specifically, let me give you a scenario. You as Miguda, we are seeing the broad-based government, we are seeing this other side, of course, but we've seen quite a number of people within the broad-based, and especially the political class. Some of them are being financed to ensure that they make the ground visible, or the ground, they make the ground accept the likes of, I mean, they make the ground, they're being given money to just move around and, of course, preach the gospel of broad-based and the nice things that the broad-based have done. But again, the truth of the matter is, the people on ground are not failing, or they're not seeing the good things that they're being told that the government has done. So the question that we were giving our views on, or just your take, you as Miguda, let me say, you understand the environment where you are currently in. You know the situation of the people of that area, of which I know majority of them are suffering. If you get to the rurals, you'll find that there are people who are going without food. You'll find that there are people who are in their need of good health, but they are unable to get to the hospital because in one way or another, they do not have the finance. So the question I want you to give your views on here is just an example. Actually, we are not like, I'm just putting an example that suppose now you are given, let me say 10 million by these broad-based guys, that you make the ground, you preach the gospel of broad-based. And remember, you're coming from an environment where there's a lot of sufferings. Would you take this money, give it to the sufferings, or you will take this, or you will leave the money? I think that was the issue. And as you are giving your views, be as practical as what is happening on the ground. Unanisikiza? Have
Nakusikiza
in
vizuri
mind
sana
the
kakangu.
sufferings of the people of that ground. Give us your view.
I thought you could have asked me, taking this money, giving to the people, or taking this money, keeping it for myself. So it is only given to the people, or you cannot keep it for yourself. Which is which?
My view was, what I'd said here is, if I'm given the money, I will take. I'm just giving you what I'd said. I will take, but I'll
Okay.
use this money to give it to these people who are suffering. That was my take, and I have reasons why I'm saying so, based
Okay.
on practicality of what is happening on the ground. So you can as well be as truthful and give us your view. Me, I stand with my view, not as a way of somebody bribing me, but I know it is not practical or anything, but that is not who I am. Just give us your view, me good.
First, let me tell you. According to me, already I have a decision that I'm in opposition until very end. So the money come from the UDA to me in opposition, 10 mics to give to the people suffering so that they can sing 1-2 term. You know, like I've told you, politics is about interest. Maybe I can take the money, maybe, but this money does not serve my interest. After I've shared with the people, maybe I want to contest for a parliamentary seat or a senatorial seat, but I want to be in opposition. I've started the issue of interest. Taking that money will not help you, will not help me. To me, if you give me 10 million today to give the people so that the people can sing to your tune, I won't take. That is me. Me, I'm also honest the way you are honest. You can take. Me, I cannot take. I don't believe that 10 million can transform my life or can transform the life of the people, because you cannot transform the life of the people with one day. Personally, me, I know myself. My brother, the way you know yourself. Me, I cannot take 10 million.
Miguda,
I'm practical.
what? Yeah, you're practical. Nobody's disputing that. But okay, let me not talk much. But thank you for as well giving us your view. That is nice. But I think you've not gotten or maybe ni mimi then I'm having a different view on certain things.
Of course, our views can't be the same. You have to have different views. There is how I'm viewing it. Let me try to break it down. To me, like love so 10 million to me, you give me 10 million to give to the people. So I'm the person. First, me personally, I'm not in that life of. I mean, I don't like dishing out money. That I'm even at so I'm Mweshemiwa. I'm giving people money so people can see me. You know me. I'm not in that world. Me, I don't know. I'm not in that world whereby there's people who just like
I
giving
think
people
you people
money.
are not getting the perspective in which I'm trying to bring this. I'm not justifying anything. But you, kwanza Miguda, you know what I'm speaking about. Miguda, you are a Kenyan today.
What are you speaking about, bro?
Let me break it down. You are a Kenyan today, right? Possibly
Yes.
you've been in Nairobi and you've gone to school, Vizuri. You've been looking either a job here and there, and things are not working out. But again, you are in a situation where you've been in the Republic, of course. You've seen quite a number of challenges that the people of Kenya are facing. And I can give you an example. Some of them have gone to universities, gotten their degrees. Some of them gone to an extent of getting their masters, but they still do not have the employment. So you find that majority of them are getting too low to even being given 1,000 shillings, and then now they transform themselves as being hired by the political class as a way of just managing or accepting the 1,000 that they're being given to act as goons, not because they want to act like goons. But remember, let's say they are living within Nairobi, you have to pay that rent, you have to pay to cater for that. Those are some of the reasons why you find young people are getting into this kind of activities. They're not getting into these activities because they want, or that is the only option. They're not getting into these activities because they have bad behaviors. They're not getting into these activities because they want to, but they are being forced based on the circumstances, based on the environment. They have no other way, and so they are choosing the negative things, not because they want. You get my point, Miguda?
Very clearly, very clearly.
And that is why you even seeing, you've heard, you've interacted, and what we're doing here is, I'm quite sure you've been within Nairobi. Have you ever been in Nairobi for like a whole 1 month, 2 months, and you have to pay the bills and you have no job? Just be as practical as you can be. What kind of activity, what kind of things have been coming into your mind? What kind of
Makobura,
influence have you gotten yourself into? So,
Makobura. Are you done?
you proceed.
Okay. Makubura, we have been with you in Nairobi. So if I'm speaking here, you know what I'm speaking. And I don't know why you are contradicting my subvision. Because I've been to that life. Like I've told me, I've lived both lives. I've lived good life. I've lived better life. I've lived that life to the very best. And I've also lived that pathetic life. The lowest I haven't gone is in the slums. But let me tell you, even you, we are with you in that corner you are saying. And also, because you have said there are some activities people are doing, but you know very well, not that I'm lying. Up to that life we have been with you, because you are here, you are my witness. We have not engaged in those activities. We haven't engaged. Now let me speak for ourselves. We haven't engaged in those activities. No one has ever engaged. Even life has been so hard. Life has been so hard. We have been living not even hand to mouth. We have been living without anything. But we haven't engaged in those activities. Number two, we haven't engaged into even drugs, even alcohol. I can say we are drugs. Those even you understand the ones which we are smoking. We haven't engaged, and we have been living in that environment, and we haven't engaged in those activities. We are saying the young people are engaged, and you know very well we haven't even gone to line up for handouts, and we have had nothing at all in our pockets. So that's why I was telling you from you know what I'm saying. Even right now, I can say not that life is so perfect to me, but I even have opportunities to do so. But I'm very much contented. Me, let me just be truthful to you. Maybe someone can take it, because me I haven't take it, and from the view, well, let me tell you, me I'm very much contented with the life I'm living, because the question was asked to me. But you also, we have been with you in those hardships times together, and even going without food, not once, not twice, many times. And also, you have seen opportunities, even like activities like you can break someone's door, or you can engage in illegal activities. But we haven't. So let me tell you one thing: there are things that are inborn. There are things we can do. There are things we cannot do. There are things that we can engage. There are things we cannot engage to. Like to me, I like have to. Life has not been easy. Sometimes life has been easy. Life has been sweet. Sometimes life has been sour. Life has not been. But I think the constant thing is we haven't engaged into those activities the young people are engaging. Let me tell you, even you talked about living in the rural. You know, in rural, you can have 3 meals a day. In rural, there's no electricity you are managing. So to me, in rural, the people whom I can say are suffering, in my view, more so in the Kenyan context, because for the Kenyan context, according to me, are the people living in the slums. Those people are really getting it hard. Like the people living in Ushago are not getting it hard, because at Ushago there's no rent you are paying. At Ushago there's no water you are purchasing. At Ushago there's no tokens. Nowadays they have brought solar panda and also the other things they are doing. So to me,
Did you see that baby who was picked in Meru, the one who was being caged like a dog, and whenever they opened for him, he would run looking for food like a dog. I don't know whether you saw that. The guy or the young boy who was saved by the Sisi kwa Sisi team that is led by, what is his name? I'm forgetting. His name. Eric Omondi. Did you see it, Miguda?
What about it?
I'm asking you whether you saw the video.
No, I never saw the video. That's why you have to explain to me. I never saw it.
Oh, okay. There was a baby, I think is around, they were saying I don't know whether it was 7 years or something. This baby, because it comes from a family that is very, very poor. And the baby looked like he had some, I think it's a mental instability or something. So most of times he would be placed in a cage, similar to the ones that they do put dogs. And this young baby would be placed there the whole day. Anatolewa asubuhi, jioni anarudishwa, until even his posture had started changing. He would not like stand straight. Remember, these are things which are happening in Kenya. So when I was giving my views, I give my views having in mind the kind of difficulties that those people are going through. And when I give my view, I don't really say that I'm a bad or good person. But to me, if you ask me, I would risk to ensure that somebody somewhere, and especially these people who are suffering, get something, and then maybe I lose. I have seen in this republic, look at the northeastern, especially during the droughts and those days when there are no rains. Look at Turkana. I don't know whether you've ever seen videos of Turkana. There's a young boy who had lost similar. I think that was also done by, if not Sisi Kwasisi, I think it was Sisi Kwasisi team. There's a young boy who had lost both parents, both mom and dad, and he had dreams of going to school. And so he would do very, activities which are very tiresome. We've seen people missing meals, and especially in these farthest points, the countries like Turkana, and not just Turkana, quite a number of counties within the Republic of Kenya, people within the rurals are suffering. Sometimes when I watch all these things, and then you see the political class are having a certain money that are being used to do this kind of activities of mobilizing and all those kind of things. So me, when I give my views, I give views not because I'm saying that we should condone bribes or we should get ourselves into activities which are not right. And I was using a specific thinking that if he gives me money today, the first thing that would come into my mind is the typical sufferings of these certain people. There are people in Kenya, we've seen not once or twice, money being raised. I'm not saying these money bribes solve the problems. I'm not advocating. And that's why I'd say that let nobody mistake or misquote my comments. And I'd say it again in my previous discussions that the political class has ensured that the environment is not safe for the people. And the people has to survive by their mercy. But again, what is the way forward? How are we then going to get out of these situations that we are currently into? Because the truth of the matter is the sufferings are here with us. The challenges are here with us. The people cannot afford basic needs. The people cannot solve their problems. So how then do we go forward? I'm not saying they should be bribed. I'm not saying they have to get into bad activities. But what I'm saying over here is the sufferings had made people make wrong decisions. The sufferings has made people get into activities which are not right, not because they are willing or because they want to get into these activities. They are getting into these activities as a way of survival. That is why you've seen quite a number of increase, and I'd given these examples before. Increase of the number of people who are either stealing, the number of people who are becoming goons, the number of people who are, into illegal activities. So, how do we get out of this? Of course, it all starts with the political class. But in an environment where they're bribing everybody, in an environment where you see them bribing, and whatever they want to bribe you with can partly solve your problem, how do you go about it? Yeah, so Miguda, maybe you can give us just any other view before we can then come to a close.
Okay, I got to what you're saying. But I think the way I've stated, let it stand. So, what I want to add on what you're saying, even if it is that difficult, but remember, you cannot solve the people's problem entirely. And when you talk about the child in a cage, to me, that is crimes against humanity. The human of that stature is being mistreated. That is, they are committing crimes against him because they have denied him many of his rights and fundamental freedoms, even of movement, even right to housing, and so on and so forth. So, to me, I can just say, whenever there's a challenge in the society, you need to bring what we call inclusive solution, whereby if we are having issues to do with education affecting the people, you should put a rate whereby it serves everybody. More so, you focus on the lower class people or the people languishing in abject poverty. Even if the issue of health insurance, it should be universal health insurance, and the government should focus on the people languishing in abject poverty so that they can pay for them, so that we can have medical cover universally. It cut across to everybody. The government now should do the advert part of it, whereby they advise people to go and register. So they pay for them, the people cannot pay. When you had issues to do with infrastructure, water, sanitation, you bring what we call every inclusion to society, whereby everybody is part of it. But even if you are having a certain mics from the person in the name president, so that you can consolidate for him the ground, the 10 mics cannot get into each and every person's pocket, even if it is 100 bob. The poor will lack. And even if you focus on the cases we have cited, like the issue of that guy who had been in a cage, there might be many people in cages. So you cannot reach everybody. What I understand as a student of leadership and governance is that you can never satisfy the society needs all at the same time. So what you need to do, you need to bring what we call, you bring inclusion and try to put a program that can run so that you focus on the people languishing poverty, the people cannot afford, because in fact there are people who can afford private schools, for instance, the people can afford academies, but there are those people who actually in the scale they are down. If you focus on them and bring a program that suits them, like Elimu Bora, I've been a champion for Elimu Bora. Elimu Bora cutting across the people, like Matibabu Bora, whatever Bora. To me, that can be a solution. But this issue of driving a society with handouts, this issue of driving societies with peanuts, the money you are giving them cannot transform them. Even if you give me a 10 million today, maybe or maybe not can transform my life. Maybe or maybe not can transform the lives of the many people in society. But if you bring for me universal health coverage, so I'm stress-free from my medication, and you bring for me Elimu Bora, my kids can have Elimu Bora, even if there are 4 of them or 10 of them. Then you have relieved me from many activities as a citizen, and so on and so forth. If you can bring me good roads so that can lead me to my marketplace, wherever I want to go, and reduce the cost of fuel so that I can pay less money into the transportation. That's the Kenya we want. So, as a student of leadership and governance, I believe that whenever we are a people, we need to do what we call economical and social rights. When we agree on economical and social rights, we focus on the people, not individual. And we cannot transform it through handouts. Even if some people can take it or some people cannot take it, that is not here, not there. What is at stake here? How do we transform the society at large? Can we transform the society through handout? Can we drive a government through handout? Can we drive our campaign through handout? So if that is the norm, we are doing nothing as a country, and we need to restart. And sometimes people have different opinion. Of course, we are entitled. You can disagree or agree that some people don't bribe electorates. Raila used never to bribe people. Right now, I'm seeing Matiang'i not bribing people. Although we don't see from Omnyoro, but you never know. Kalonzo don't have that culture. Sifuna team don't have that culture. But there's a trend here whereby you are being given. I'm not saying that now the people who are giving money should not take the money, because you understand the consequence that dealing with it. Someone can bring for you 1K. You can just take it, because sometimes that day you are not going to eat anything. You understand, when they attack, people are different. The people who are receiving 1K, not everybody is receiving. Those people actually, most of them are jobless. But that's how they have been. They have been prisoned. You understand? Their brain has been prisoned. They have been put to think in that direction. You have been manufactured on how you should think by the government of the day. And that's why we are still in disagreement. And we are still in research that, personally, me, I disagree that you cannot manipulate people. You cannot drive a country by handout. You cannot drive a cause by prisoning the minds of the people, so that people view you as a supreme provider. Lastly, we must think differently as a people and as young people. People are now saying that it is God who gives leadership. Of course, it is God. But before God comes, the people walk into a polling station and elect a leader. And they will proceed and tell you that it is God who brought William Ruto. Now it is God who will make him a second-term president. Sometimes you don't need to drag gods into these issues. And that's a mentality. I mean, I've been telling people, I don't know how, that is mentality. This mental game, you are being told that you cannot be a one-term president, or you cannot defeat William Ruto. That is mental game. How? How did he defeat Raila and Uhuru if he cannot be defeated? And he has never lost anything since he was born. Those are just mentality. So this issue of mentality, that you should respect the elders. Of course, we respect the elders, but elders can be wrong. So even if they are wrong, we should just continue respecting them. The fact that you are an elder doesn't make you that you are too supernatural. You can make a mistake, and we are at liberty to disagree. So according to me, there are things that has been just established to micromanage you, and when you disagree, you are a threat to the status quo. That's why I'm insisting that we must break the status quo, no matter what. We must get overhaul of the whole system. It is very possible. So it's just mental. They are trying to drive you that it is impossible. It cannot be. It cannot happen. It can happen. And right now, I want to agree on this with the Miguna Miguna. Miguna used to say that it can happen. It is very much possible. He was seeing something that most people cannot see. To me, I can see it is very much possible. It can happen. So they have decided to engage us that you must beg on your knees for you to live in your country. That if you cannot beg on your knees, there's no 1,000 for you. But if you can just come out very early in the morning, work hard, you will get 1,000 pop. Even if you work 2 days, 500, you get 1,000 pop. You don't need to praise and worship. And the bad part of it, this 1,000 pop comes once or thrice in a year. It can come once. Maybe if in the ground comes to your constituency once in a year. If they go to Muranga today, they go to Kiaru. What about the other parts of the constituency? They have not visited. So if I'm maybe in the remote constituency, haven't received that 1K. So we need to rethink.
I didn't know that I was off. You didn't tell me. Sorry. Yeah, so thank you so much. Allow me to also put it on record that I'm not in or by any means advocating for bribes in whichever category, whether it is within the national government or party or anything. I do not, of course, advocate for anything to do with bribe. And in the discussion that we were having, it wasn't anything tied with bribe or anything. It was just part of the stories that we are giving as a way of getting to understand the views of the people. So let it not be in any way tied that we are supporting or anything that is connected with the bribe. I think that should go, should be noted. Yeah, so I think apart from that, Miguda, just your view. I'd seen Dr. Buru Oginga, who was also, I think he had visited the current home of Joanna Ngeno. But this time around, I'm seeing him having quite a number of security, and not just security, even if you look at his convoy, it is highly guarded, something not as it used to be. So maybe you'll give us just your view on the kind of comfort that he's currently getting, and could it be because of the position that he's currently holding? You'll give us your view on that and possibly your final remarks before we can call it a day.
Okay. When I met him last Sunday, I was also able to observe that, because for you to access where he's conducting his meetings, they must do for you screening. Me, I went there on Saturday night, so they screened me. They screened our vehicle, and the security was tight. You were put at a bay. You could not access. So on Sunday, to report to you, Makubura, because what you observe on Sunday, you know, the NIS boss, there's a NIS police officer, not NIS, DCI, who used to be, it's called Onyango, who used to be Raila's, one of the Raila's securities. DCI was given by the government. He has shifted his allegiance to Oburu. So we saw him with that DCI guy with the vehicle for Raila, the one with the siren, the blue siren. So they have taken over. They are the security has been. So I'm not surprised with today what you saw, because already me, I've met them on the ground. I met them with this DCI officer, Onyango. I met them with security screening all over. So I think it's just a matter of what he's saying, power. That's power. So he's in power. You don't expect much. He is privileges. Is privilege, or is entitled to such privileges because he's in power. You understand, even Israel is not being disrupted by tear gas. But there's a problem with all those securities, screening, whatever. There's a problem. Oburu used to sit in the back office where Raila was alive. Raila was the main engine. Raila was the head. Oburu used to be mechanical team and used to sit in the back bench, back office. So he used to be consulted. When Raila died, in my opinion, we ought to have allowed Oburu to take over leadership the way he's taking right now. But he could just be there for transition to be effective. But with him right now, he has insisted that he's not going to leave that position to anybody. He ought to have just lead the transition, just like in the US elections. After we have elections, there's that transition act whereby if the new president is coming to an office, you have the office of the president-elect, whereby you mark time there as the current president is transitioning from White House. So Oburu ought to have just been there for transition purposes. Then after transition purposes, right now, Oburu could have said, okay, we have buried Baba, we have mourned for 40 days, we are back. Now call NDC. Young people, take over the party. We could not have this divisive in Odia. We could have this serious, but because Oburu is being micromanaged with two brains, you understand? It's being micromanaged with Junet Mohammed and Gladys Wanga. So even at the podium, it's being told what to say, that you should say this, you should say this. It's being reminded. So Oburu is not himself. Oburu is not independent thinker. Oburu does not make decisions solely. Oburu is not like Raila, who could wake up in the morning and do his politics. He could run all over in Garissa, Wajir, whatever in the country to do his own politics. He could plan by himself. Oburu is looking for people to follow. And let me tell you, let me shock you. They know very well. Not that they don't know. It is written on the wall. They know Oburu was just good in the back office. Oburu is not a machinery. And that's why they were saying, let us bring Orengo on board to drive this vehicle. Because minus Orengo's brain or engine, this vehicle will break down and cause an accident. So the brain still, which is driving this guy, insisted that we cannot bring Orengo on board because when we bring him on board, Orengo will take us to the street. Then we are asking ourselves as young people, if you are sick and tired of the street, that is you. But as we still need more streets because through streets, today they're enjoying multi-party democracy. Through streets, they have freedom of expression. They can abuse the sitting president and nothing can happen to you. Through streets, they can party hop to each and every political party of their choice. Through streets, they can hold their rallies peacefully without disruption and tear gas, even though they are tear gassing their opponents. Through streets, they are able to steal and embezzle public funds. Through streets, they are able to cite ODM constitution. Through streets, we are enjoying the fruits of 20 Constitution, Bill of Rights, Fundamental Freedoms and Bill of Rights. Through streets, we are independent. We are sovereign state. Through street. So, which way are we going to salvage this country if not street? And the only language that the government can understand of the day is street. So once the cease calls, the duty is to be available. But we are also saying, if you are sick and tired of street, you keep off. The other time, the young people, the Gen Z told Raila, Agwambo, keep off. Baba weka nyumbani. Let's finish this work for you. No one called him to come to the street. So if you are sick to go to the street, you keep off. I've not said that I'm going to the street, me, myself. I'm saying the people want to go to the street. Let them go to the street. What is wrong with you? Me, I can decide as Miguda to be in the house. That's my own decision. You cannot force me to be in the street. But the people want to go to the street. Let them go. The people want to lead those demonstrations. Let them lead those demonstrations. If you cannot go. So this issue, there's a problem we have as a people. When it suits you, you practice it. But when it's against you,
can we just end it kindly? Lost power over here. And so
okay,
we'll proceed.
Okay, we'll meet tomorrow. Bye bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. May God bless you.